Hello, everyone, and welcome to SmashBoxxTV podcast 610.
6'10"?
6 and the 610.
6'10". That's a few inches taller than my son. Not much. He's only 6'8".
Oh.
So.
And I'm just a little bit short of that.
Yeah, you barely.
Right. Welcome in, everyone. It is 610, also a week just following a Jomez Pro Series event, the Cascade Challenge, that just took place a couple days ago over in Washington State. We'll, of course, talk about some of those details and results and such a little bit later in the show. And then it is the precursor to just a day or two before the Northwest Challenge. I had to think about the name. I haven't been there in a couple years, so sometimes I just space out. But it's just the
Northwest Challenge.
Northwest Challenge.
Presented by Latitude 64.
Okay, sure. We'll go with that. So that's taking place in another Elite Plus event, which I feel like is, 3 in a row?
Yeah, it is 3 in a row, yes, because we had Open in Austin, then we had OTB, and we have this one. Is there like a
limit?
No, like
protocol?
An unfairness? Like, for the people that get hot right now, like, not unfair, but like, you're condensing everything into one little spot, so let's just say you're playing really well versus playing earlier. I mean, now's the best time to be playing well.
No, I could see that.
It's just interesting that this year they're all bundled together, so a hot player right now is like, yes, that's awesome. And
yeah, in
a cold player might be like, God damn it.
No, in a very similar sense. I always got like super cold right around like Worlds Week, and I never was crowned world champ. I don't know. Like, that's not fair that they had it during that week, right? When I'm not playing my best golf.
I understand, but the good thing is we have someone who would get hot during Worlds.
Yeah, you would.
Every couple years.
Sure. 5, 7, 11. None other than 3-time world champ Nate Doss joining us.
What's up, guys? Boy, had those years equaled 610, we would have really been cooking. But yo, congratulations, 610 episodes. You guys have been at it forever. Ooh. And I think I probably was on a double digit. There's no way I was on a single digit episode. I had to be on a double digit, right?
Yeah.
I had
for sure on a double digit.
Yeah, for us to recall all that would be silly. But since we dated back to, November of 2014. So here in the 12th season. And, I mean, you already had all your world titles wrapped up by then.
For better or worse. That's for him.
So, I wasn't, I wasn't a good guest.
No, you were great. All right. So crazy. Let's start here before we get into some other meat and potatoes. This weekend, as we were just kind of alluding to, this weekend, we're in Portland. Well, I'm not, but you are. You and some others are in Portland. Another Elite Plus event. I mean, just kind of even playing off of what Johnny just said. All these superlatives being thrown around, Elite Pluses, and then we had a major mixed in, and then we're going to go overseas for what will be Euro Tours, then a regular Disc Golf Pro Tour events. Like, what does that all mean in terms of where we're at these days with our naming convention and then the points that are awarded?
Yeah, I mean, I heard you guys talking about, like, the DGPT pluses, and, this year with them adding in the Jomez series, that naming convention, just this last weekend in Washington, they played just 3 rounds. The weekend before, they played down in California. Well, they played in Santa Cruz, just 3 rounds. So, they are fitting in these 3 event, the players are. Mm-hmm. But as far as the Pro Tour is concerned, we're in the hot part of the season right now. I mean, Johnny, you were alluding to it. Like, if you're playing well right now, this is when you have to start to play well, right? I mean, now Gannon Burr, he's totally changed that. He flipped that on his head. But generally, for me, by the time I came back to California in May, I knew my game had to start getting better because, I mean, Worlds is only 3 months away. And you got to get ready for it. Your game's got to start to tighten up a little bit and get a little bit better. So, I mean, this is the last one before the tour heads off to Europe, which is a big trip this year in Europe with the European Open happening there in Estonia. So this is an exciting time of the season. Obviously this weekend we're going to be talking a lot about the fact that the World Championship is happening basically in this same format next year. Playing Milo, playing Glendoveer. Of course, they'll add one more round for the World Championship out at Glendo. But we'll also be talking a lot about points and where we are in points and who's got what and who's sitting where. And then we'll obviously start to prep and throw everybody off to Europe. So it's going to be an exciting weekend. The weather should be very Portland-like. A little bit of drizzle here and there, maybe only 65 degrees here in June. It's an 80-degree day today, but it's supposed to be about 65 on average for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, it will. It will also be one of the shorter "quote unquote" rains for our world champ. And I this is really silly. I'm thinking this far ahead, but next year we'll be hosting the Worlds in June, to fit into the tour schedule. This year's World Championships will be taking place the last week of August, almost the first week of September. And therefore your reign, so to speak, whoever becomes world champ, not that they're going to complain probably too much, but they'll become world champ basically September 1st and then be playing again to defend their title come June. So it's going to be a relatively short turnaround. I mean, for so long, our Worlds were almost always in August. And then when Smugs rolled around, I think back to 2018, that was one of the first times we saw it push back that far late, and now it's become a little bit more common. But I guess we'll see how it shakes out. And
we got to go back. We got to go back to 1990, which was Ken Climo's very first World Championship, which happened in Phoenix, Arizona, or Scottsdale, Arizona. They ran that one, I believe, in November. So assuming that the next year, 91, would have been sometime in that late July, mid-August timing, that certainly would have been the shortest rain. Now, of course, Ken Climo went on to rain.
He went on to make it the longest rain. I'll show you guys.
But yeah, that one being in 1990 and about, I think it was November when they played down there in Scottsdale, out there at Shelley Sharp. So yeah, I don't know.
Kind of crazy, and I mean that's really nothing more than a footnote. But what is exciting, as we've all just kind of alluded to, this weekend Portland, and then in essentially 2 weeks we'll see everyone in Estonia. Fast forward next year, Worlds in Portland, and then the year after that, Worlds in Estonia. So this is all obviously part of the building blocks and things that they've been working on, and it's pretty exciting to see not only this swing, but then also you're getting a little preview of what's going to continue to develop over the next couple of years. So very cool to see. From what you know, how does the media team play out this weekend? I know all I know is I'm personally not involved, and I know you are. So, how is it? How are things shaking out this weekend?
Yeah, it's going to be fun. For the first time, Brian Earhart and I will be a team, just him and I. So he'll be slotted in as the play-by-play. I'll be the color over on the MPO side. I think we'll have Perks on the ground and Hokum doing interviews. And then over on the FPO side, Perks will be in the booth with Val, and then Hokum will be on the ground there. So yeah, it's a 5-person team that we've got going on. Of course, the first 2 days, this is going to be an interesting dynamic because Perkins is going to be in Glendoveer, to my knowledge, and then have to get all the way to Milo. But he would just have to do. No, I think he's on the ground. So anyways, we're going to have some logistical things there, as that's about a 45 minute drive from Glendo out to Milo. But the first 2 days out at Milo MacGyver, playing that Milo Gold course, and then finishing up at Glendo.
Okay. Very exciting. Yeah, we've had quite a switch up over these last few weeks in terms of kind of just maneuvering people around, and Perks has been doing a lot more of the play-by-play, as he's done with Dez the last few weeks, and it looks like we'll keep things rolling. And
I love it. I do. I love the switch ups.
Yeah,
I've been saying it for years that I want to see more different groupings together of people.
Yeah, I think you're also getting a little bit fresher. You're not listening to, for instance, to me all day long as a play-by-play guy.
Oh, I know.
I know. Some don't want to listen at all, but you're not listening to me all day long. You're not listening to a Perkins or really any of the play-by-play all day long. And I think that's part of the change that they're looking for as well, that they've liked. So it certainly should be exciting. All right. Well, other things that are going on, and one of the main reasons why we're talking to you tonight is some new stuff in the works. Been on the mic doing stuff with Disc Golf Pro Tour. Obviously, you've joined us. You've joined another number of other podcasts. You've been on Ricky's Roundtable, some Joe Mez stuff. But a brand new media development spearheaded by you. So why don't you share with the world what's going on?
Well, Terry, great intro, by the way. Thanks for setting me up. That's just like how we did it in the booth. You set me up, I knock them down.
Right.
This is, it's been interesting over the last 7 or 8 years that I've been away from the competitive side of the game. And, my history goes all the way back to 1991. Was the very first time I ever played disc golf. I was 6 years old. And I was just fortunate to come up in an area where, disc golf was prevalent. California, Santa Cruz, California. And these last 7 or 8 years, I've sort of had this feeling that I want to talk to some of those early players. I honestly, not even just the early players, just all the players. The more I've been away from the competitive side of the game, I just really wanted to connect with those people. I've missed those conversations. And one of the things is getting the stories out from the tour, over 50 years. This is 50 years since disc golf was effectively invented. I know we're celebrating that with Steady Ed this year and whatnot. So all that being said, I just wanted to do something, long form where I could sit down, have these conversations and just get into people's history and past and telling stories and laughing and joking and getting back so that people could understand what it was like in the early days. And that's exactly what we've done. We've got the Out of Production podcast is exactly what it's called. And it was spearheaded by me. This was something that I really wanted to do. I had a lot of supporters in it. Bob Giulio from Discraft was definitely, I would say the biggest supporter. He was like, Doss, dude, you just have to do something. You're telling me you want to have these conversations. Me and you get on the phone for an hour, 2 hours, and we just bullshit. Like, you got to do this. And I said, yeah, you're right. And that was a couple of years ago. And finally, something hit this off season. I don't know if it was just with where the age of everything has to do with my kid for some reason. That's one of the reasons why I came back to play disc golf 2 years ago. And now while I'm doing this, I've had a curiosity of where we came from as far as disc golfers are concerned. And I think you have to go all the way back to the Frisbee, the invention of the Frisbee, Whammo, all those types of things. And so that's kind of where all this came from. And Terry, you've been a huge supporter of it as well. And I asked you to be a part of it with me. And so this Out of Production podcast is not just me. It is also Terry Bear, and I can see Johnny reacting right now. But Terry is a part of it as well. And then I remember at one point, Terry, you said, hey, if you want to do this thing without me, just do it. You've been busy. You were in China doing you're busy every single day. So it's hard to kind of, wrangle you down. But I said, no, man, it's not about needing you. I said, I want you. And one of the reasons is, Terry, is you and I have known each other since 1998. And I just can't imagine going on an adventure like this without you. So you've been one of my closest friends. And I know Johnny V, you can attest to that, working with Terry is a lot of fun. So, yep, the Out of Production podcast. Just so excited about it.
So is this a podcast you've already started? Is it out there right now? Can people go find it on their local podcatchers, so to speak?
Yeah. So learned a lot about that in the last couple of days, getting all of the social media accounts and websites and all that stuff. But yeah, the very first episode will release tomorrow, June 3rd. 2026 at noon Central. So it'll be about 10 a.m. out here on the West Coast, 1 out there on the East Coast. So noon Central. Our very first episode is about 3 hours with Dan Stork-Roddick,
Wow.
PDGA number 003. And it was an incredible conversation. I can tell you, as of this moment, we have already recorded 4 conversations, and we'll get those released over the next month or so. But the first one had to be Stork. It just had to be. It got us off on the right foot. Dan is not only is he one of the pioneers, he's just, I don't know, he's like a wizard or something. I mean, he just starts talking and you just listen, you lock in. He's a professor of sociology, so he sort of understands the human mind really, really well. And it was just a real pleasure and honor to speak with Stork for that length of time. And I'll tell you right now, we didn't even get to everything. So we're definitely going to have a round 2 with Stork. But yeah, releasing tomorrow. All the accounts are up right now. So if you go to YouTube and you search for the Out of Production podcast, you'll find us there. We've got a little intro video that's already up that we put on there. And then the first episode will drop tomorrow on YouTube, as well as Spotify, Apple. And I think those are the main ones for now. And we'll work on more if there is more. But yeah, super excited. I'm going to take this moment. I have to thank Dave from the Dyers Guild. That's Terry's basically neighbor. And Dave has been an absolute rock star. We asked Dave to help us with this. He's been helping with the website, editing the shows together. So big love to Dave at the Dyers Guild. Look up the Dyers Guild. Dave is one of the most solid people that I've had the opportunity to work with. So big thanks to Dave.
So this YouTube channel, you've got a few in the can. You've got, is it, I mean, I guess I'll have to ask all the questions here. Is it going to be weekly, bi-weekly? Is it going to be live at any point like we do here with Smashbox? Or is this kind of just one of those, is this going to be more of a production that you guys record ahead of time, bank a bunch of them, and then slow roll release them?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I mean, I will say at this moment, there is no live aspect of the show. That's mainly because the length of the show, and we don't want to really be locked in. We don't want to deal with technical problems. I mean, if we were all sitting in the same room, I feel like we could maybe do it, but in this case, we're not. All 3 of the guests, myself, Terry, and our guest, is remote. And if we have any issues, we can always just, take a break and come back and pick it up. So that's kind of the main thing there. No live right now. I ideally will get 1 conversation in a month and release 1 a month, maybe 2 a month in maybe some of the slower months where Terry's a little bit more available. But yeah, I think it's going to be 1 a month for now. And, look, man, these are podcasts. Like, I mean, I'll tell you, I've been consuming, I never listened to a podcast until about 7 months into Bevel being open. And I was telling one of the people that was just hanging out, having a beer, I was like, yeah, we have music on, but I feel like I've listened to every single song in 7 months that I've ever liked ever. And I've listened to them 5 times over. And he says, oh, dude, are you doing podcasts? I was like, nah, man, I'm, whatever. And he gave me a couple to listen to. Mainly it was Hardcore History with Dan Carlin. And if you've ever listened to Hardcore History or Dan Carlin, it is amazing. Some of them are 5-6 hours long, and it made my work. I was a better worker. I was everything, and I've just been obsessed with finding these really cool podcasts that are long form. I hate when they're 45 minutes to an hour. They're getting over it. I'm like, I want more from this guest. I want more from whatever they're talking about. So that's kind of the idea here. And I will tell you that it's been amazing. I put my phone away. I put everything away. I put myself in the garage, locked the door. Luca can't come in. And I'm just locked in with this guest. And it's been so much fun. But yeah, I mean, they're designed to be listened to in your ears. right? These are audio podcasts, but you can obviously watch the video on YouTube if you want as well.
The video, is it actual video, or is it going to be just kind of like the audio with like?
No, it's actual video.
Yeah,
we're recording
they're,
them audio and video. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay, I wasn't
recording
sure.
using a real popular methodology, which is Riverside. So it's a website that plenty of people use to record things. So it's all getting recorded there, then kind of shifted around, polished up by Dave, produced by Dave in that sense, and then he'll also take all of the audio from those and then put that out on the actual audio podcast only. So yeah, there will be the YouTube component, I think, just because so many people live in a YouTube world, and it makes sense to do it while we're at it.
Well, I just wasn't sure. I know I feel like it has to be on YouTube somehow, whether that was a video form or whether that was just, you see some podcasts that just do audio bars and put that on YouTube. So just so people can listen to it. Like, a lot of people listen to podcasts through YouTube and not necessarily I was wondering
about that. I mean, I've never done that because I like personally I use Spotify, but I know some people use Apple Podcasts, and there was Google Podcasts at once, but I think they shut that down.
I think it's done now.
They might have shut that down. Yeah,
they probably shut that down. But on YouTube, can you just download the audio locally, or?
I think it depends on your version of what you pay for on YouTube. And a lot of times, I think they just now allowed on iPhones background listening. So you can just put it on, turn off your phone, so you're not burning through, necessarily video data.
Battery.
It just streams the audio and battery.
Okay,
there's all sorts of different options.
Yeah, and I know
that'll be available.
I have a YouTube Premium, so I don't get any of the ads, but one of the things that allows me to do, because I don't pay for Spotify, I don't pay for all the other 100 things, I can download everything directly to my phone, which is what I do before I go on any trips on any planes. I will just download whatever I want to watch or listen to on YouTube, and then I can just play it through. It's just like you would do with a Netflix a lot of times, where you can kind of download it locally, but it'll only play through that particular provider once you are on the plane or through that app. So yeah, somebody could do it that way. They could just see a screen with just one image, but it's actually all of us interacting, with the guest largest in frame, and then myself along with Nate. So full audio and video versions are out there.
Great. So go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead, John.
No, I was gonna. Oh, okay. The podcast. What are you looking to get out of it from your guests? Are you looking to get kind of a history of disc golf? Are you looking to get specific person's history or what it relates to in disc golf? I think of all these people that you could have on, people that you know very well, someone like an Avery or a Dave Felberg, or those guys that are, they're not modern, but they're not the founders either. You have such a spectrum to pull from. What are you looking to pull out of these people? Or is it different with every person?
Yeah, I mean, as I was kind of rambling on when Harry first laid it out there for me, I feel like this is really for me in a way. Like I'm so curious. We'll just use Stork for an example. This is going to be our first episode. I've spent some time with Dan before, but I've never just spent one-on-one time with him and just finding out more about how Dan became Dan. There's been stories I've heard about the 2-meter rule. I've always just heard was because Stork is 6'6" tall, and they were making the rules up, and he walked over and he said, "Yeah, it's above my head. It's OB," and that's how that rule was invented. And I've heard that story 500 times. But I'd never heard it from Stork. And so we heard that story from Stork. We heard several other stories about him winning a car. I mean, by playing a tournament that was just on the weekend. It was literally just on the weekend. He eventually drove that car all the way to California. I don't want to give away too much.
Come on, yeah.
Don't spoil it, bro.
No spoilers, bro.
I mean, the thing about it, and he drove to California to start working for Whammo, but these are the kinds of things that I wanted to know. Disc golf has been so monumental in my life. And I don't think I'm unique in that statement. I could go as far as to saying disc golf saved my life. I don't know where it would have been without it. My dad, who I call my dad, Mark Carlskin 7277. I mean, he died a couple years ago now. He was my stepdad, and coming into an environment where, he's trying to raise this kid, but we bonded over disc golf, and he was there for me through that whole time. And how did we get to that point? How did we get to that point where it was that important for people? How did Dan Stork-Roddick, who's a brilliant man, spend all this time just into the International Frisbee Association and eventually helping Ed with the PDG? Like, why does these things happen? And those are the things that I want to know. And those are the questions that we ask. So that is kind of what I want to get out of it. To answer your question a little bit more tightly here, it's what you said at the very end. Every guest is unique, right? So with Dan, it was kind of, hey, Dan, let's start from the beginning. What's your story? I think if we had a different guest on, it could just start in the middle and you just start rambling and telling stories and, just like even talking about telling some Climo story where the first time you met Ken Climo or whatever it was, and those are the stories that I want to get out there. Back in 2006, I had a guy, his name's Derek Hastings. He was sitting on my front porch when I came home from the '06 Worlds. I had just taken second place to Ken Climo, where he won his 12th world title, his final open title there in Augusta. He's sitting on my front porch. He says, hey, I want to do a documentary on your life for the next year. I said, all right, you seem weird, but let's do it. It was amazing. He did film my life for basically a year. But in that year, we said, dude, this is bigger. This is way bigger than this. We started interviewing people. We started getting interviews of the pioneers. We went to Stork's Garage. We went and, tried to find Victor Malafronte, who's, one of the most legendary names that you can hear in the Frisbee world. We interviewed everybody we could, all the way to the champions of the current day. And fast forward, all of that footage is sitting on a hard drive somewhere, maybe unrecoverable. I don't know. I don't know if Chains will ever be completed. I want Derek to complete it, but this is my little way of getting back to those stories and putting them somewhere that they'll be able to be listened to forever, right? Because somebody who just found disc golf, whether it was COVID, that's great. I'm so glad we have so many new players, and that's one of the reasons why our sport is as big as it is. But we are so close to the beginning. It was only 50 years ago, and most of these people are still around, and I want to talk to every single one of them.
Yeah, and I'll follow that up and say what this is not, and maybe it goes hand in hand with everything Nate just said. This is not the previous champion from the last weekend. Like, this is not at all. I mean, clearly we have so many different podcasts, including ours, and a lot of the different podcasts that are out there have some niche of some kind or some overall format that they stick to, whether it's a full-on debate night by some of the guys over at Foundation, or it's the news that's going on, or dare I say the news and brews by Murder Mike, who wants to get in there and try to get spicy with stuff. Whatever the case is, there's all these different, and even the Roots of Flight, I believe, who did a really deep dive into the history of disc golf. Everyone's kind of had these different styles. And
I was going to say, I did a swing with Stokely, disc golf history and legends.
Exactly.
There's a few interviews out there from that podcast.
So everyone's had these various styles, and there should continue to develop them out. But what Nate and I aren't going for, or what we need right now, is another topical weekly show.
No.
And this is a totally different flavor. And with
it's more evergreen, so to speak.
Yeah, and for that reason, I also think with that, there's plenty of people that might not find it interesting. Hopefully they will, if they want to learn of any of the history, or there's really significant people and these pillars and these pioneers of the disc golf community. But this is, we are not talking to Gannon Burr next week, even after he wins his 4th Elite Plus or his 54th Elite Plus. It doesn't matter. Like, it is, and it's not just to say, oh, we only want to talk to, old heads either, but the premise is to get more into the history, more into, the people, whether it's early PDGA memberships or players and or course designers, whatever their role is. I think it's going to be really interesting to hear more from them. So someone asked earlier on the board and said, is this kind of similar, or didn't Nate Sexton do something similar? And Nate had a Running It with Nate Sexton was his podcast, which I still love the play on the aggressive play name.
Yeah, but I don't think his podcast was necessarily about a lot of the history. Was it?
I feel like
I thought it was just interviews with different people.
Yeah, but I think he went to a lot of probably similar people that we might eventually talk to, and talking to whether that was a Corver or a Dave Dunapace or a lot of the again, the pillars, the pioneers and pillars of our disc golf history and lore. So super, super blessed. But I just wanted to set up, and I'm going to be the first to admit, and I think it's probably obvious if you've been around for a minute, this isn't going to appeal to everybody. This, for some of the reasons I just said. Some people don't care. Like, if somebody came, I might love, you may love the Chicago Bulls, but you don't really care about what they were doing in the 70s. Or you might be a big Bucks fan, but you didn't really care what they were doing in the 60s or the 70s or the 80s or some of the Bucks history. And I understand not everyone always wants all of the backstory, but if you are at all curious, those are the types of stories that we're going to be able to capture. So for that, it's really exciting.
All right, maybe this is seeing as how you guys are both co-hosting this. I guess I have.
No, you can't join us.
I don't want to join you. I have a question though, and maybe it's different for each of you. You've done a few interviews. Of the people you haven't interviewed, who do you think has? Who are you most excited to interview? We'll start that. Who's
there
that?
You go first.
Yeah, who's on that list that you think would be either interesting to you or just the really most interesting interview?
I think maybe because he's been relatively, intentionally or not, relatively evasive, and I wonder what he'd share if pressed. I'd love to talk to Jim Kenner.
Ooh, yeah.
Jim Kenner has not. He has always been so gracious and kind to me. Nate, you have a much deeper history with him, being sponsored by Discraft for so long. I've had my interactions with Jim, and they've always been great. But Jim, unlike some of the other faces, when you look at a UC, when you look at a Jeremy Rusko, when you look at some of the other faces of our brands, they've been out in front and center, which is great as well. Jim never has been that guy, right? And
it's always kind of been Mike.
Yeah. And you don't hear from Jim Kenner, the founder of Discraft. So to me, he's just one that immediately comes to mind.
That would
when
be
I
great,
think about we just don't have a lot from him. And what will we get from him? Is he at a point in his age where and development of disc golf where maybe he opens up a little more today than he would have 10 years ago or 20 years ago, because he feels like things are set in their way and he's on his life and career path. I don't know. So Jim Kenner comes to mind immediately. As one of those. I mean, I could give you, there's dozens of people I'm excited to talk to, but just right off the bat, he's one that comes to mind. How about you, Doss?
Yeah. For me, one of the ones that we haven't interviewed yet is David Greenwell. I definitely want to talk to Greeny. I mean, look, David Greenwell has spanned so many generations and has been in tight with so many great players. I'd love to talk to Greenwell, somebody like him, I think is huge. Greg Hosfeld is somebody that I really want to talk to. I think he lives in obscurity in a way, but this guy's a world champion, and he won a Worlds. It was the first international Worlds at the time. It was up in Toronto, Canada, and it was in an incredible playoff against Michael Sullivan, who was the Canadian champion at the time. And boy, when I've actually had both those guys in close proximity to each other, and boy, they love telling the story about the playoff, all these things that happen. I mean, these are the kinds of things that excite me. And just to touch on a little bit of what you guys were talking about before. Yeah, it's not for everybody, but that's kind of the point, right? Podcasts that's why there's so many. That's why there's 500 million of them, when there was only one, 16 years ago, or maybe none. So the reason we're doing it is kind of for us. I mean, I could say this for a fact for me. I'm doing it for me. Just because I've always had so much fun listening to those guys bitch and complain and it was like this or that guy did this. Like I want some of that stuff. I like that stuff. It fulfills me. It reminds me of just back when I was young. Brad Hammock, I'd love to interview Brad Hammock. I mean, that dude has been through the thick and thin of it. And him and I were good friends. Cam Todd. I want to interview Cam Todd. I want to talk to Cam. I want to get him back to talk about his career, winning his worlds in 2001. And to be honest with you, I want to speak to every world champion, male and female, that has ever existed, because there's a big part of me. And by the way, this interview, you're going to get to a little bit to know me, which is I got a lot going on in this brain. It's all happening at once. But one of the things that I love about great champions, all the way up to Gannon Buhr of this day, is what it takes to get to that point. It's not just a world championship doesn't just happen. It happens over years and years and years of building up to it. Now, we did talk to Sam Ferens. I'll give that one away a little bit. We've already talked to Sam. Sam was my number one. We ended up talking to Stork, which I think was a slightly better number one. Not, better is not the right word.
Stork is the perfect person to start this podcast,
right?
With. Like, there's not
exactly
the only other people on RIP. The only other people that would be better are no longer with us,
right?
Yeah, like a Steady Ed or like a Dr. Stancil Johnson or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
So talking with Sam. And, Sam won at 16. And in a way, Sam was dropped into that moment. It's not like he had been playing since he was 2. He probably started playing at 10 or, 8 or 9 or 10. And 6 years later, boom, he's a world champion. So I don't know. There's just so many great stories, and there's a little bit of tidbits in there. And honestly, my mind just keeps going and going and going. There's just too many people I want to talk to.
Yeah, I want to be the fly on the wall for the 6-hour Crazy John Brooks podcast. So that's
the first 3-part series that we'll have.
Part 1, crazy. Part 2, and Part 3. Yeah, I'd love to know all these guys. Like, who were their biggest competitors? Who are the people that they hated to lose to? Who were those are the stories that I would love to hear. I mean, everybody has a really good introduction to the sport. How did I get involved? My brother brought me out one time when I was 12, and then I started beating him at 14, and this and that. Those are all great stories. Obviously, I like to lean towards the more competitive side. I want to hear, Crazy John get like, God, I hated losing to Climo, or things like that. Those are the stories that I think would be really cool. Or the crazy road stories from someone like a Stokely or a Crazy John, or some of the, as someone brought up, like the whole Winnie crew. I can only imagine some of the shenanigans that they got into back in the day, or Sugar Shack, stuff like that. So those are things that I'm excited to listen to. So
yeah, absolutely. And when you start talking about somebody like Crazy John Brooks, and I know that Crazy married Val and I, he's been one of the most important people in my life, period. Ever since I was a little kid. Crazy John used to carry 5 discs and a water cooler. And what did I do for 3 years? I carried 5 discs and a water cooler. I mean, I won my junior world title in 1999 carrying 5 discs and a water cooler because I wanted to be Crazy John Brooks. But Crazy's so much more than that. He was the Bud Light freestyle Frisbee team. He traveled with Stevie Ray Vaughan. He performed in front of 50,000 people. He invented the mouth delay, whatever it might be. And I want those stories. And if it takes 3 episodes, 4 episodes with Crazy John Brooks, we're going to get there. And that's what we're going to do, because one of the other things that I can tell you that I'm sort of searching for is, what is the common thread of finding something that you're passionate about for 50 plus years? I think a lot of people in this world today are searching for that thing. And disc golf is that for a lot of people. I know that it is for me, right? It has been since I was a little kid. Like I was explaining before, it kind of saved me from a lot of things. But what is that common thread from a Stork to a Crazy John Brooks to a Ken Climo, all the way up to a Gannon Burr. What is that common thread that you find something that you're so passionate about that you don't want to just be good at it, you want to be great at it? Or you want to be so influential at it that you're going to be remembered forever. And that's something too that I'm looking for. And a lot of the questions I asked are kind of trying to get to that point. And a lot of people have sort of just said gratitude. I think a lot of these people feel lucky that they were able to find something that meant so much to them.
Yeah, it has, as Nate was just saying, we have recorded a couple of our first few guests here. First one being Stork, to be released on Wednesday the 3rd. It's easy to essentially, and not that this has to be the precursor or the guidebook, but just looking at the World Hall of Fame members,
just go down the list,
is obviously a very good start for us.
Yeah.
Because when we talk about ambassadors, pillars of the community, pioneers, some of these most important, influential people that, when we go back in time, have made these contributions, they've kind of set us up for some of the successes that we're seeing now. So not that we're ruling anyone or anything out in terms of an angle, but that certainly feels like a very easy starting place for us. And before we even looked at the World Hall of Fame, immediately we kind of made a list just off the top of our head of who do we want to talk to. And then sure enough, every person we mention is in the Hall of Fame as well. So it should be a lot of fun. And as a few people have pointed out tonight, yes, it's doing everything that Nate wants. It's doing a bunch of things for me that I'm really excited about. Then for the greater good of, hopefully the greater good of all of disc golf, this will just forever be archived in a sense that people will be able to find it if it exists on a place like YouTube. In our lifetime, YouTube probably won't be going away. And it may or may not have to pay for or something at some point. But to have it archived in a sense that, yes, so-and-so was talked to, here's what they had to say about a subject. And it was verbally said by them, by him or her at some point, and we have a lot of history and a lot of lore and a lot of people kind of in and out of their own stories that you've either heard in person or through the grapevine or, through the, game of telephone. But that's where it's so exciting, is that like Nate and I have this opportunity to hear it with our own two ears directly from the source. And there's going to probably be more than once where we're like, wait, we've always heard such and such story, you're telling us something entirely different. And that is kind of a fun revelation as well. It's like, oh yeah, that's never been true, and people have been perpetuating that for 38 years or whatever.
Yeah, and I do want to I'm personally not calling them interviews. I'm calling them conversations. I know they're interviews. I know that's what it is, but I consider it a conversation. I go into it eyes wide open. Where can this go? What can you give me? And one of the reasons that I'm somewhat hesitant to interview more like playing like competitive players, like say Anthony Barella calls me up and says, "Hey, dude, I want to do the podcast. That sounds fun." I'm going to go, sweet. Like, let's freaking do it. But I think we're going to end up talking a lot about things off the course, like his training or his life. Like, but we're not going to break the glass ceiling of a competitive athlete. I was there. There's things that you hold very close to the chest as competitive advantages over your fellow competitors. I think finding somebody just a few years out from, say, retirement or from being past their prime is the perfect time to talk to somebody, right? Because I'm an example of that. I'm 6-8 years in. Right now, I'll tell you anything right now. Now, I'm not going to hurt anybody's feelings, but I have nothing to hold back. I'll tell you all of my fears. I'll tell you how, I mean, when I was going into that World's Final in 2005, I didn't think I was going to win. I thought there's no way that I don't blow this thing, right? But then there was the other side of me that said, dude, this is going to be your best opportunity. Maybe it's going to be your only opportunity. That's what I want to hear from people. And if I can be honest, right, then they can be too. And that's the competitive side of the people. Now, there's also those people like, that just put their time in to make a magazine, right? Let's talk about Rick Rothstein and some of the early guys who started disc golf magazines, as a way just to get that information out. So there's so many angles to it. I would not pigeonhole in out of production podcast into anything. And I'll tell you right now, yes, some people will not enjoy it. But I also say just give it an opportunity, because every single guest is a little bit different, and they have a little bit of a different angle that some one little thing might connect with you. And that, that could mean everything for you too. That could be that one tiny moment that you go, "Oh, yes, that's me and I can do this." So
Yeah,
I think that's
certainly.
important too.
Something that resonates. And the only thing that I guess I would liken it to us here at Smashbox, where we have conversations with these players, and generally we don't give a shit about what you threw on hole 7, unless it was the most miraculous shot of the whole weekend. We don't care.
Yeah.
Is that your 3rd run or your 4th run, PD? Is that, is that your slightly beat Luna that you got last year? Like, and I'm saying those are all valuable things for somebody else to care about. We just don't here on our show.
There are plenty of guests, as everyone knows, that we barely talk about the most recent win.
Yeah.
It's like a passing thing, like, "Oh, congratulations on your win. Let's talk about something."
Yeah, but let's talk about your rock, your rock collection. Not the disc, the actual rocks. That you were searching.
Your parkour.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll just say, if there's a thread, a thread of some carryover consistency from maybe even Smashbox, I would say we're there, like you said, for the conversations and a few details here and there, but it is, some of it's not going to be that nitty gritty, stuff of that nature. And again, those are all great things that plenty of people want to learn or hear, and I'm fine with that. But you're probably not getting those details from us.
Do you have any? I always want to call them like shticks or anything, like segments or 5 questions or anything like that, or is it just a conversation? Do you end the show with anything special, or is it? I guess I can find out in a day.
Yeah, just spoilers. No, wait till tomorrow.
There's no segment pieces. There's no commercial breaks in the middle. I will say for these first few episodes, we don't have any sponsors whatsoever. We will eventually have sponsors for the show. It'll be my goal to do all those reads in the beginning of the show. You can go ahead and skip over them if you want to, but these conversations will be uncut, raw, unimpeded. It'll be exactly, we sit down, we start talking. I've done my research on all of our guests so far, and all I do is write down one question. That's it. I don't write down any other questions, because to me, and we've all been in a million conversations, that first question, that leads to a second one, that leads to a third one, that leads to a fourth one. And honestly, the fourth one you were thinking, by the time you get to even asking it, you've already thought of 5, 6, and 7. So to me, and you guys know this because you talk to people all the time, that's the key to a great conversation, is kind of going into it like eyes wide open, basically. And, that's, to me, that's been so important, doing it that way.
Yeah, and as Mike on the board just said, I bet anyone listening to Smashbox will love those too. There will, for every reason we just kind of went over, there's going to probably feel like a little bit of crossover, in that it's just a conversationalist, aspect to it, and it's just we're taking more of a focus on some of the people that had put together our sport the way that they did. Whereas on Smashbox, we generally are a little bit more focused on who won the last weekend, and then having a conversation with them. Not to say we haven't had all sorts of other random guests, and
of course,
and we love having all them.
Look,
and
you
people
guys
with
have done
current day initiatives and projects, the Macbeth Foundation to whatever. So we'll continue to do that. But it'll feel similar but different over at Out of Production.
And you've had 610 shots at it now, and
right.
you guys have always been that spot for people to come announce things, just like me right now. Terry, I talked to you the other day. I said, "Hey, can I be on the podcast? I want to release it Wednesday." And you said, "Heck yeah, let's do it." And that's what you guys have always been there for, and that's exactly why we need Smashbox. And you guys started that. In fact, I mean, Johnny V, we're gonna have to get you on as a guest because you're more than just Smashbox.
Oh,
You started.
I
How
can't
many
wait to
things have
grill
you
'em.
started?
Oh.
And I mean, I remember you carrying a backpack, doing live coverage out at the 2011 World. So, I mean, everybody has that story, right? You cannot imagine, somebody who doesn't, basically. And even if that story is something that you don't connect with, Gannon Burr is a perfect example. If I interviewed Gannon Burr right now, the first question, if I wrote it down, because I don't have to do research on him, I basically commentated his entire career. I'd write the first question down. So, what's the biggest, most expensive Lego set you've bought? Because when I was a kid, I absolutely loved Legos. I still, to this day, my mom has bought 1 billion Legos for my kids. They're sitting right over here on the floor. And we could talk an hour about Legos, and just that's the kind of stuff, just kind of opening up, getting to know people. They're a lot more than just what you see on TV sometimes.
Yes, it's going to be fun. It's going to be an awesome project. We see Dave, who's also was running a live show tonight over at the Dyers Guild, as he does weekly shows and does, not weekly, excuse me, but frequent shows, also reviewing discs and then doing all his different tutorials. But us having the help of Dave is going to be huge as well. We'll be able to set a higher level, production level, where Dave will help put together some clips, also get some snippets and things out there as well. So big shout out to Dave for jumping in as producer here of the show. And we couldn't do it without him. Because quite frankly, if we're being blunt, I don't need more things to do. However,
but you don't ever really say no.
That's the problem.
That's your problem.
So when Nate was driving this bus, and I wanted to be on board for sure, but I have to limit and think about, okay, how much more work do I want to put in? And in talking to Dave and coming up with this game plan that we had, it was really just the fact that, we could entrust someone like him to do what he's going to do to make my job easier, to make Nate's job easier, and logos, branding, all of that stuff. It's actually been way more work than I thought it was going to be already. But I'm so glad that we are at the point where we are right now in terms of the name. In terms of
gotta say,
else.
I mean, just like I told you, Terry, it wasn't that I needed you to open the show or close the show. No, I wanted to do it. I wanted you there because I want to do this with my friends. I want to interview people that I called my friends, that I call my friends now, that I want to become friends with, people that I want to get to know. One of the guests, I'm not gonna give away any more names. I already gave away 2. I'm not gonna give any more guest names away, as I want them to be a surprise. But one of the guests I was just completely enamored with for about 45 minutes, and I came out of that interview just with a much higher respect for this person than I ever had before. And that is the gift of conversation. And I hope I can do that as many times as possible. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. We're not trying to do any of that. We're just trying to get the stories out of the people that to be honest, I've idolized. Some people. I mean, if you've ever asked yourself the question, could I interview my idol, right? So if you were a big Chicago Bulls fan and one day you had an opportunity to have a conversation with Michael Jordan, what you wouldn't do to do that. That's what I've been able to do, especially with Sam Ferentz. I idolize Sam Ferentz, right? I was from California. This dude was 16-year-old world champion. And I've become friends with Sam over the years, but this conversation that I had with him was better than any that Sam and I have ever had. More real, more to the point, understanding who Sam was as a person. And that's exactly what we want to do here. So thank you guys for the opportunity to get this out. I just want to say it one more time. The Out of the Production podcast, if you just search Out of Production, really on the 3 main places, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts for now. You'll be able to find it. The first episode will release tomorrow at noon, and that is with Dan Stork Roddick, number 003. So yeah, I'm just, in a way, I guess the only way I can, the only word I could use here is grateful. I'm just grateful for the opportunity. I'm grateful for you guys for having me here tonight. So thank you.
Yeah, appreciate
Always.
it, buddy. As you just said, it is on YouTube. We're also going to post them at least to my Disc Golf Guy channel, just so that we can continue to draw a little bit more of attention to it. And then already working on a Facebook page. We have a TikTok account. We have an Instagram account. So we'll continue to build all of those things out as things carry on. So everything that you'd want to see and hear and have all these different avenues, we'll get everything caught up. But also all listed in those feeds, as you just mentioned. So they'll be able to find us one way or another. All right, Doss, you've got stuff to do. You got to pack. And get yourself all ready. You've got, what is it, about a 3-hour drive over to Portland.
Bring an umbrella.
And off for the weekend.
Umbrella is packed, and I got to work tomorrow morning, but at Bevel, I got to transfer batch number 500. So actually, next weekend, not this weekend, next weekend is our 7th anniversary. And just a couple of weeks ago, I brewed on my 500th batch at Bevel. And that will release on our anniversary party. Gotta transfer that tomorrow. Get that all ready for next week. And then I'm loading the van up with 50 cases of Disclandia IPA, which we'll release at the tournament. This year, we're going to have it in cans all throughout the property. You'll be able to crack that can, enjoy that beer while you're watching disc golf. It's, I got to say, just disc golf these days is at that level that we always dreamt of. Having fans, having spectators, buying a beer, having a hot dog, hanging out with your buddies, watching the best players in the world. And it was a funny thing. When I went to my very first golf tournament, traditional golf, it was out at Pebble Beach, and I was watching hole 17 at Pebble, which is a par 3 into a headwind. And I remember watching, I think it was Davis Love III, hit this shot, and I'm like, holy shit. Like, how hard he hit that thing into a headwind. It was unreal to see. I never got that feeling with disc golf, okay, because I was always in it. I was always like in it, even when I was a kid and I saw Kenny for the first time or Jeff and Johnny Listman for the first time. Ooh, that'd be an interesting interview if we could get those guys to ever open up. But because they're they're crazy dudes. But my point being is, I'm at these events now. I got a group of guys that are coming from Central California, 4 of them. They're coming up to watch the tournament. They're going to have some beers, and they're going to be blown away by watching Anthony Barella throw a fucking shot through the tree. So we've gotten to that point, guys, and it's been 50 years. And so we got 50 years of people to get stories and questions and all that stuff out. So thank you, guys. Congrats on 610. It's been a real honor.
Appreciate it, buddy. Looking forward to it. And, of course, everyone, make sure you check out the Out of Production podcast, headlined by Nate Doss. I'm there along for the stories, and it's going to be a good time. I can promise you that. All right, pal. Have a good night. Good night to you, Val, Luca.
We'll be listening this weekend.
And, we'll be watching this weekend. Have fun.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Yep. Appreciate you.
Night.
See you, everybody. Yep. Late.
3-time world champ. Still one less than his wife.
Well, yeah, and it always will be. We always joke that our demographic is long haul truckers,
right?
They now have a podcast to listen to on the way home.
Yes.
So as they're making their delivery,
one way,
you can listen to the Out of Production podcast on the way back. To get that other long form interview that you're looking for.
Yes,
I'm excited. I will be subscribing. I will be updating it. I know you told me about it yesterday. And I'm honestly, it's really cool. I think I can't think of anybody really that much better that I would like to see do this. I know the funny part is we're getting a few of these. We have the No Girls Allowed video and Matt Rothstein doing different interviews right now with and promoting some of that, which a lot of it is the history of disc golf from the FPO perspective. But him and the Steady Ed Initiative, I think, is what it's called.
Yeah, the overarching company is the Steady. I think the Steady initiative.
Is it the steady initiative or something? Having something like that and this and like we're to the point now where there's a lot of history that can be told.
Right.
And it doesn't have to come from one specific side. So I'm excited for this. I look forward to hearing you even more.
Yay. Yes, it is. I'll tell you now, as we just talked about, they are not short, and they're not intended to be. We purposely don't really have guardrails in terms of a time limit. I mean, we're thinking 3-ish hours is going to be on the long end of it or so, but it's just that. It's a conversation. The other day I thought, maybe this one's going to be closer to 2 hours, and then a certain question was asked of some sort, and then next thing you know, we're pushing closer to 3, and I'm good with that because it obviously doesn't feel to me like it's long or dragging on or anything silly like that. They're just really good conversation and getting some of these perspectives, and hopefully people are going to learn a few things about. Oh, I never knew that happened, or why this, went down that way, or, oh, that's the real backstory to this. Like, again, just getting it from the actual person involved instead of just hearsay, I think to me is one of the exciting parts. And then forever having it archived in one way or another. So super excited about it. Hope that you guys enjoy it. I don't want to be defensive. I keep thinking about like what it's not, but
doesn't matter.
It's what it really is, and it's
what you want it to be.
Exactly. So enjoy it.
Again, I'll be the first to say we don't need another topical podcast, and that's no offense to if you're right now sitting out there thinking I could love to do a weekly podcast. Go do it. Sure. Everybody has a different perspective,
of course,
but do we need it? No.
Yeah.
I mean, some people can bring something new and unique. That's great, but that's not what this is, and I'm personally happy about it.
I will quickly say, and I did speak to Matt Rothstein briefly when I was out in California, and it is in fact under the YouTube brand. Well, it's under the YouTube. I'll put it in the chat. Steady History, YouTube/Steady History, but it's called Steady Initiative. It's an independent project that, let me get the full description. Independent project that recovers disc golf's forgotten stories and brings them to life for new audiences. Archival-driven films and books built from primary sources and first-hand voices. So, of course, there's going to be a little bit of crossover in what he's doing. But let me also say, Matt does research. Matt is thorough and detailed, and is reading through bylaws and notes, all of this incredible history.
30-year-old zines that that were posted.
Yes.
This is the Mobile Disc Golf magazine,
right,
and we are talking about this.
Yeah, so it's still a very different avenue, even though. So his are going to be more research and more data driven in that sense. I highly recommend. He's out there. This is kind of his backstory, in his professional career of doing things like this. Came out with the No Girls Allowed initiative, or the No Girls Allowed film, talking about the FPO struggles. 100% recommend that as well for you to go out and consume. Ours is going to be, I'm not going. Neither Nate and I are coming to the table with I see in the bylaws, in 1977 this was posted.
I think, and
we're just very different.
I think the perspective is Matt's point of view is he's looking for specific stories to tell and getting multiple people's perspective on it. That's not what you guys are doing.
Right.
You guys are looking for a specific person and getting their stories. Like you said, that could overlap. If you both had. Juliana Korver on, that would be great. You would be talking about her history and Iowa disc golf and her world championships, and then the No Girls Allowed. I'm sure she would, she's in that. I know she's in that because I watched it, and then getting her perspective on that particular side of the story. Of course, there's going to be overlap, but coming at two different viewpoints and two different perspectives in two different ways. So that's great. It's great.
So there you have it. Should be a lot of fun. Should be exciting. And like I said, we're going to have 5 that will release slowly but surely. 5 episodes ultimately will release. at that point, maybe we'll be able to take a little bit of feedback as to if there's something major that we're missing or need to still hit on, and then we can go from there. And we've kind of had the perspective, and this is not to sound cocky, we've kind of had the perspective, as Doss was saying, is even if others don't listen, like, we're excited to hear these stories. So we might as well record them and might as well put them out. Not to say we're not trying to hit, the listener's ear, but if these are interesting stories to us, then even if no one listens, we're still gaining something from it. So hopefully you resonate or find some fun within them as well. All right. With that, thanks, and let's move on to news, and then we'll go to some results from the weekend.
That sounds good. Right away, we'll get this out of the way. If you're listening to this on Wednesday, right now, Wednesday, even though today's Tuesday, is your last day to vote for the players on the President's Cup.
Oh, let me go do that now. Can I vote?
Yeah, it says if you go to the PDGA site, it's under their news, pdga.com/news/your-choice. That's YOUR. Don't try to throw an apostrophe RE in there. However you want to spell your, don't do it. Spell it the right way. YOUR. Anyway, then there's an option to vote, and you can vote for one player, I believe, in each.
I'm going to log in and do it right now.
And anyway, get your vote in for the President's Cup, and then there will be more decisions from the captain in a couple weeks.
Okay.
Or maybe not even a couple weeks, maybe. That might be a little too late.
Do a little sooner than that.
I'm sure the conversations behind the scenes have already happened. A lot of them already happened. Your captains are Katrina Allen and Kristen Lott. So we're going to see some fun. It's going to be fun to see who is and is not on the particular team. So that is, get down there to PDGA news. Other PDGA news, PDGA's first African Disc Golf Championship. We've seen a lot of growth in the continent of Africa. A lot of it due to actually a local here in Johnny Roundhouse, but as well as the Macbeth Foundation. Right. And a lot of that is growing disc golf in and around Africa. So it's proposed right now for November 6th through the 8th, the first African Disc Golf Championship sponsored by Discmania, Ananda Disc Golf Course in Kialami, South Africa. So you can, if you're listening to this and you're in Africa and you want to participate, by all means, the info@discgolfsa.org. Awesome. So go check that out. It's going to be cool to see the number of participants that gets, and just in general, I honestly, I really hope there's video coverage of it at some point that's released to like a YouTube. Terry?
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know. I'm voting.
If you're not in Asia, I mean, it's November. I don't know.
No, there's somewhere else I might be. But anyway.
And also on the PDGA side, we're like, can we just call ourselves the official PDGA podcast?
Yeah, geez.
They don't have one right now.
All the shilling we do for them.
Yeah. The board of directors, PDGA Global Board of Directors, there's 4 candidates. There's a interview out there. There's 2 at-large positions. They'll be elected in July, which is next month now. So you can get out there and learn about the different candidates, I guess. Yeah.
There's 4 candidates vying for 2 positions.
Okay, yes.
And they include Conrad Damon,
Rob Bullen, Benjamin Shin,
and
last but not least, Ken Luukkonen.
Yes.
So those are the 4 candidates. There's some real brief introduction, background information, goals on this page that you can go out to. Please do a little bit of research. Be knowledgeable and vote.
I will add to that for a quick moment is not only can you go out and read what's written there, which I haven't had a chance to do just yet, but like last year, I will be going through a quick interview with all 4 of those candidates. And they are predetermined questions that have come, I think, either from the board, the existing board, or the PDGA staff, possibly. I'm not sure exactly how the questions were constructed, but they are not mine. And I will be going through the exact same questions with all 4 of the candidates. I think there was probably some feedback to say, hey, we're going to try and get these all within about 30 minutes. So they're pretty easily digestible. I'll get an interview with all 4 of them, all 4 going through the same set of questions. You can listen to how they answer them. That'll be just another opportunity besides reading there on the PDGA page and or possibly reaching out to them or seeing any other posts that they make. This will give you another chance to get to know all 4 of those candidates. And then as you were just saying, there's going to be 2 positions that will be awarded out of the 4 potential candidates. So I'm going to be conducting those interviews in the next couple of weeks, and then those are going to get posted, I believe, to my page, and then they'll get linked everywhere. So people will have that chance once voting opens, or maybe even before voting opens. That's a project that is currently on my plate.
Come on, let's get with it, Miller. I want to learn about these candidates, and I'm too lazy to read.
So real quick, though, I'm in here voting for the players on the President's Cup. Do I strategically pick on the European side, some of the lesser, or someone that I don't feel as good as maybe like their top player?
Do you only get to choose U.S. or Europe?
It is allowing me to vote for all 4.
Okay.
Of the rosters for both Team Europe and Team USA. And so do I go to Team Europe and I'm like, I don't know that person as well, or I think they're the least competitive out of all these qualified candidates. I think they're the I mean, I don't want to pick their best player.
Yeah. I mean,
right?
Yeah,
I mean, as if I'm being, it depends what kind of selfish I want to be.
Oh God, too bad we didn't get a campaign going because it's only tomorrow. We could have campaigned to have whoever the lowest rated player is that's qualified, and I'm assuming the U.S. will outvote Europe.
Right.
Although I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Finland. But
our voting record's not great.
We could have flooded the votes,
right?
Stuffed the ballot box for the lowest rated European, and really tanked their chances.
So I've officially voted now.
God, why didn't we think of that? Next
2026
year.
President's Cup fan voting is complete. You can only vote once, and it says thank you for participating. So I have officially voted.
Well, those Europeans are going to be organized when you or I get on that board. You or I get voted in. Yes, we want Terry and John on the team.
Yes.
As we're getting whooped up by Lori Lettinen.
Yes.
All right, so let's talk about a few quick results here. It was a pretty busy A-tier weekend. The first event we'll talk about out of Flagstaff, the 28th annual Tree Bash Open. Christopher Robbins wins this in MPO. Over on the FPO side, Jasmine Small, congratulations. We'll get to that one later. The Auburn Open out of Auburn, California. Aviel Gomez wins this. Aviel, a name we've talked about quite a bit. Younger player, rated 1027, PDG number 127492. I mean, he's not super young, but he wins this by 2 strokes over Drew Gibson. So congratulations, Aviel. FPO, Serenity Madison taking this one down. The 7th annual Magnolia Open powered by Discraft. That's over in Durant, Oklahoma. Mason Marchbanks.
Named after Kevin Durant?
Yes, I believe so. When he was at the Oklahoma Thunder.
That makes sense.
Oh, yeah, it totally makes sense.
Just renamed the city for him?
Yeah, why wouldn't you? Mason Marchbanks wins over Freddie Meza. The fact that you knew that in general, Terry, still throwing me a little bit.
Pretty impressive. I couldn't name another team he's played on.
Kevin Durant?
I don't think so.
Oh, Celtics?
Nope. So...
Yeah.
Did he play for the Timberwolves at any point?
I think that's maybe where he started his career.
Okay, well then
maybe he went there after. I don't know.
Anyway, but those are it.
Yeah. FPO, Emma Arp, congratulations on your win. The Discraft Cascade Challenge, the non-DGPT one. Oh, never mind. That's MP40. We're not going to talk about those people.
Oldies.
Those oldies. What are they, out of production? Gosh. Greenfoot Energy, Dieppe Open 2026, elevated by Thought Space Athletics. This is out of, I'm messing this up, but it's DIEPPE, New Brunswick, Canada. Taking this one down, Thomas Gilbert. Still got it, buddy. Shooting 11 under par, winning $1,035. The FPO side, you've got Colleen McInnes. Congratulations by 3 strokes. Hazy Shade presents the 4th annual Scott Burnett Open. This is out of Springboro, Ohio. Nicholas Gill winning in a playoff over Jonathan Borzik. Congratulations.
Tim Courts better be on this list somewhere.
Oh,
I see him on the top of MPO.
I don't know. TYIM. Tim Courts. He is. He DNF'd, actually.
Tim!
He wanted to give everybody else a chance. He was probably crushing the field.
Okay, fair
and
enough.
just decided, like, you know what, guys, I'm going to step away.
He was smashing the field. He was smashing
the field. Yeah.
All right. Just a guess, since it was in Ohio.
Assumption. FPO, Hannah Wynn takes this one handily over Raven Gilgerson.
Handily,
yes. Discmania presents Sunshine Open at the 501 in mile marker 63.
Powered by?
I wasn't going to say it. Powered by Abreu Carroll and GMT. Abreu.
I just love the length of names.
It is pretty epic. Harry Chase taking this one down by a stroke over Simon Lizotte.
In epic fashion, and I didn't see anything.
Didn't
else
he hit like a
event.
huge putt on 18?
Yeah, it looked like he hit a huge putt on the final hole. Went all Kale LaVisca.
Oh, running down a hill?
No, it wasn't down a hill, but ran to the basket pretty much. Aggressively hugged it, and then on the way back threw the putter to the ground. It was very Kale-like.
Did Simon still have to putt out?
I don't know. I would assume
because
so.
that's what Kenny had to do. Kenny still had to putt out when Kale did that back in the day.
It was it gave me some of those vibes.
Wow.
Except for the not downhill part. But the aggressive, I mean, very exciting. Obviously,
I'm going to have to watch it. I heard about it, but I didn't get a chance to see it.
Yeah, I saw it on the socials.
Sure.
So congrats to Harry Chase for that.
And suck it, Simon.
Yes.
Anyway.
Washed up.
FPO, Anna Blazik wins this one by 3 strokes over Sasha Smith.
Nice.
The 35th annual Capital of Texas Open down in Austin, Texas. Everybody was just there, and now they're gone. Mason Ford takes this one handily over Nate Porter. On the FPO side, is it? Yep. I figured it was one of the Mondajanos. It's Valerie Mondahano winning by 7 over Alexis Mondahano. So we got a nice couple. It's a couple victory. It's a couple win.
Yes, congrats. They did that earlier this year, and doing it again, where they both come home winners.
Doing it again.
Doing it well.
All right, and finally, we're going to talk real quickly about the DGPT event, the Jomez Pro, the Cascade Challenge out in Shelton, Washington. This is where a majority of our top pros, if they played this weekend, were going to be, because it's out on the West Coast. So taking this one down, the indestructible Gannon Burr by 2 strokes over Andrew Marweed. 3rd place, Luke Taylor, Eagle McMahon, Noah Meinsma. 6th place, Jake Mon, Aaron Gossage, Gavin Babcock, Braden Sides. Rounding out your top 10 buckets, Joey Anderson. Scrolling down to FPO in a scorcher, honestly. A absolute scorcher. Silva Sarnen wins this by 6 strokes, shooting 1019, 1008, and 1039 disc golf to win by 6 strokes over Owen Scoggins, who shot 1,003, 1,008, and 1,006. So, unfortunately, poor Owen lost and shot 1,000 rated golf.
Yeah, she shot about 1,005, 1,006 rated golf and lost to Silva, who averaged 1022 on the weekend.
Yeah, that's some solid.
Wah, wah, wah.
That's one of those times where all these people hate to lose.
Right.
I think Owen doesn't mind losing as much as the next person when it's something like this. Like, Owen's going to celebrate no matter what because she's Owen. When you lose to someone who's shooting outrageous, you just tip your hat to them. You don't want to lose when you play poorly, but to lose to somebody who's playing phenomenally, you know, that's great. In the Open, if it's in any other division, you call them a sandbagger, of course. Right. You know, if it's in advance and you lose to someone by 6 strokes, they're clearly a sandbagger, right?
Of course.
Yeah,
anyone that beats you, I mean, that's the standing rule.
Yes, if anyone beats you in any division other than Open, they're sandbagging.
Yes. So,
so Owen Scoggins takes 2nd place. In 3rd place, Hede Line. 4th place, Kona Star Montgomery. 5th place, a tie between Emily Weatherman and Kat Murch. That is your top 5 in FPO.
Nice. Congrats. Unfortunately, part of that $3,500 that went to Andrew Marweed for 2nd I'm hoping he hadn't been quite yet PayPal'd that or was issued any of it. Some terrible, just gut-wrenching, heartbreaking news that I saw this morning that Andrew and his wife had posted is last night. They had gone out, if I can recall the story. They went to dinner and met with some friends in Portland. And their RV, which is the only vehicle they have, their RV was parked just a touch too close to the rail system. And it was subsequently towed because it barely was hanging over the rail system.
Okay.
No, not okay. Because at some point during the getting ready and in the midst of the towing system, the towing process, some woman showed up with a screwdriver, jimmied her way into the RV, and stole over 10 grand worth of stuff, including passports, baby photos, birth certificates, professional camera gear, laptop, and other stuff.
That sucks.
And absolutely robbed the Marweeds.
I'm sorry, Andrew. That sucks. And wife.
Lindsay.
I've never met her.
Just absolutely effing.
That sucks.
Heartbreak. Like, I was so mad. I'm getting so enraged watching. She posted roughly, I think it was an 8-minute video or reel or whatever. She posted it. I started watching it. Obviously, I watched it all the way through. I think I just gave you all the official Cliff Notes, but
I mean,
absolutely. And then, as if that wasn't enough, obviously the tow company is claiming no liability and no whatever. And on top of it, it looks as if the tow company, while towing it, then damaged the awning and some other parts to it. As if the theft wasn't bad enough, there was some actual exterior damage to it. As well. And they fully accepted responsibility for the fact that they were in a position where they could have gotten towed because, as she said, she's like, we were hanging out just a little. I think they underestimated that just, a few inches or maybe even a foot or two. I don't know. They probably underestimated how detrimental that was. That still gives no one any form of excuse to then go and then literally rob them.
Yeah, was the break
process?
So was it towed and then put someplace and then broken into?
It sounded as if I recall her version, it sounded as if while they were setting up to tow it and getting things ready to tow it, a lady shows up and jimmies her way into it. And the tow company guy was just didn't stop her. He took a one terrible picture of her, but in no way tried to stop her. And said something. It sounds like he even had conflicting stories for her, but obviously some people are saying that sounds completely like an inside job of sorts of hey, we're going to tow this person, and you're already in with a friend down the road that says, hey. But no matter how it happened, it's almost irrelevant.
Sucks either way. Well, when I think about the passports,
exactly,
because you're going to Europe in a week
potentially,
or 5 days, maybe even 6 days,
Right. And honestly, I don't know if Andrew was scheduled to.
I don't know.
I do know because I just voted for him for the president's. No, I'm just kidding. I'll let you look that up. But I'm guessing they're not. In fact, I feel like I just talked to them. Yeah, they're not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all right, which is irrelevant.
It makes your life a little easier that you don't need those passports in 6 days.
That is true.
So, not that it's better, but it's
but like she
better.
said, you're talking about. I think she said wedding film, wedding pictures.
Yeah,
just a lot of stuff that's 100% irreplaceable. Yes, you can buy a new camera. You can't rebuy those pictures, honeymoon pictures, and what was backed up and said in other places, I don't know. That's kind of here nor there. The last thing they need is a lecture about, where they have stuff backed up right now. That's obviously a lesson they'll learn for the future and whatever. But you still don't and as I'm sure somebody would have come at them otherwise. That's where they live. They don't have another house. That's what they live out of. And sometimes you need some of those things with you when you're living on the road, because I'm sure somebody will say, well, why do you have those important things with you?
You live there.
If you have places to go and things to do.
Maybe this will force them to buy like a mini safe or something like. Or
who's to say they don't take the safe, walk out with that, and then eventually crack into it?
Correct. I'm just saying,
Right.
you find a way to maybe mount it or something. Most of those opportunity things are crimes of opportunity. You go in, you get what you can in 5 minutes, and you get out. Either way, it's disgusting and
any magnitude is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
One thing he goes in and is like, oh, they stole 2 bins of dis. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But just every backpack, laptops. I mean, she's a professional photographer. Just all of those things. Like, my heart was just breaking. I did not look since this morning.
Hopefully insurance has some coverage of it.
Who knows? Because we all know how most of them are slimy pieces of shit, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Like, every time you need something like insurance, they always have a way to not insure you.
Yeah.
And I'm talking home, I'm
auto,
talking car, health.
Yeah.
Like that's the United States we live in.
Mm-hmm.
So I was gonna say the world. It's the United States we live in. It just tell me when's the last time you're like, my insurance company went above and beyond and they actually helped me out when I thought there was no way they would. That might happen like 1 in 1,000 times.
I will say when my wife got rear-ended in her Jeep, I did a bunch of research as to the value of the Jeep, what it would be to replace a 2019, I think, Jeep Grand Cherokee at the time. And I was actually very happy with the amount that they offered us because it was right there in the blue book. It wasn't like they didn't try to lowball us like an extra $2,000 or $3,000. I looked at that before I called them. I said, all right, this is about somewhere in this $500 to $1,000 range is what they should offer me. And that's exactly what they did. So, no, but you're right. I'm not here to defend.
Good job.
I'm not here to defend insurance companies. Trust me.
I hope your $500 or $600 or $800 a month premiums are. Happy,
exactly.
Right? And I if you think I'm bitter or jaded about all insurance, the answer is yes. So, I'm not. But anyway, so I should look. I don't know if there's been a GoFundMe. I think there's a lot of really lame, shitty ways GoFundMes get used.
Mm-hmm.
This is not one of them. To me, this is one of the very legitimate ways that if something of that nature
is there
gets
a GoFundMe?
Started, I don't know yet. Again,
I think a lot.
I saw it. I feel like right after she posted, and then I know somebody had suggested it. So hopefully, if that's a thing. So at any rate, I saw that today. Hope that something positive somewhere somehow can come of it. As tough as that's going to be.
Yeah, it is. That sucks. So, sorry, Andrew. That sucks. That's
Andrew and Lindsay.
Let's root for.
Had made the post today, and then I think they shared it on their.
Let's root for Andrew to win this weekend.
Right. Okay.
All right. Thanks for bringing us down,
yeah,
Terry.
Well,
I appreciate that down.
Some people are just assholes, and
I know.
People that feel like breaking into someone's RV while it's in the process or about to be or is getting towed is just on a whole nother level of tow. As if getting towed doesn't suck enough.
Yeah. In
any capacity. Even if it is a mistake of your own, of course, I think they were fully owning that mistake, but that mistake should not have resulted in losing things like your birth certificate.
Who hasn't been to a tournament and had their car towed?
Right.
You know?
I guess. Those two have joined the likes of you and I. So, thankfully, ours was far less impactful.
Much more fun, actually.
Right.
We got a really good story out of it versus, whatever, damn hurricane hut. Anyway, thanks, Houston. All right, Terry. I don't know if there's really much else to speak of. Again, this upcoming weekend, we've got the Northwest Championship. Nate Doss will be on the mic with Perk and Hokum and Val and just, a whole smorgasbord of people. So we're going to get some exciting disc golf at Milo and Glendoveer, a preview for next year's Worlds, as everyone wants to call it. Although I guarantee you by next year's Worlds, there'll probably be a half a dozen different holes and different changes, courses, and things like that, because that's just what we do. And yeah, that's all. Okay. That's all I got, Tear Bear.
Yeah, I mean, my big things were to share a little bit of that news in case you see it come across, or there is a GoFundMe or any kind of support system that sets up for the Marweeds. I did want to share that because I saw it this morning, and then also just say how we'll be in fact filming those interviews with the PDGA candidates. Filming all 4, and then you get to vote on 2 of them. So I wanted to make sure I shared that.
There's a funny Reddit post. I usually scroll through Reddit real quick to see if I missed anything or anything came up while we're watching. Someone says, I'm looking for female name ideas to put on my discs to increase the likelihood of them being returned.
Any? You could probably literally
just put
write
Lindsay.
Yeah, or literally write like any as a first name, female as the last name, and you'd probably still get somebody to.
I think you need a name that, again, like a Lindsay, where it could maybe be a man's name, but it's more than likely a woman's name. So like you can't do
like a Pat.
Like you can't do Pat because
or Patty.
Yeah,
depending on how you spell it.
You could do Patty, but even that,
or a Terry.
Yeah, but you'd have to probably end it with an I think
that's fine, or T-E-R,
yeah. But just so someone's like, oh, is Lindsay there? And he's like, no, not right now. What's So that I get a kick out of that.
Yeah, and as sad as this is, that joke and reference was made decades ago.
Of course,
about us putting a female's name on it because you're that much more likely, which is a little bit sad that we have to share and say just that. But certainly a strategy that will likely get your disc returned. I think, I mean, I think you really want to, increase your likelihood. You're going to probably put we'll say a modern female name on it. I think you're going to more likely get the call,
like a Kylie or a Kayla,
or a whatever, something within a certain range versus
not Esther.
Yeah, versus
only because shout out Esther, my grandmother, her birthday had R.I.P. But
right,
it would be her birthday today.
Dorothy, maybe you might be a little.
I don't know. A lot of these old names are coming back in style.
Yeah, I know. Like my mom's name Lucy.
Still,
if you go with like a Jessica or a Lindsay. You're probably going to be more likely to get that call.
More than likely.
Whoever's name is on it, you should definitely give them a call regardless. How about that? That's a good way to do it. Speaking of return discs, one thing I did this weekend was went to the anniversary party of a brewery called Three Sheeps, which is in Sheboygan, and up there, played at a course that you and I played in the late 90s, and I haven't played in the better part of a decade.
Which course is that?
And went to the Quarry.
Oh, I played the Quarry like a year or two ago.
And at the Quarry is where I posted a video of a lockbox where people could return the discs, and then I posted that to the internets, and plenty of people chimed in saying that they have a similar solution. What they have at their place works or doesn't work, and here's some of the pros and cons to having them. Somebody posted literally like a lunch pail, like an actual lunch pail that said, and it says "Lost and Found" is written on it in Sharpie, and somebody can come to their front door. I think they live right next to the course, and then can search it through this lunch pail as to if their disc is in there. So very trustworthy, all the way to people like locking them down and having them be like they're in Fort Knox and everything in between. So it was pretty funny to see some of those responses. As I saw you scroll past Gannon Burr and another, we'll quickly talk about it. This could be after show fodder, but just the same. The hate that came about from a few days ago from the Discmania post where they talked about Legoland and Legos and used AI to create a Lego. I'm going to be the first to say, I don't understand it. Let me back up. I understand.
Just give me after show. Yeah.
You've done AI and you're depicting a disc golfer and it has 6 fingers. I get that, all right? And I think we've had that issue. I think that was a part of the potential Discraft challenge or whatever a while ago. Mm-hmm. I get when as they say, slop, right? Like something doesn't make sense or it's off, and it's so obviously off that it's AI generated and it's terrible. to depict Ganon, like, just so you know, like, there's no real Lego place that could be taken a picture of. Like, so the fact that you're, and I'm probably setting myself up for hate, but like, come on, like, I thought it was like,
it's cute.
Cute.
Here's
educate me why this is.
I mean, you know
so
why.
hated.
You know why it's so hated.
Because it's the internet?
Well, partially that, but I mean, someone like, I think Tim Courts would be a perfect person to talk to about this. Okay. And I don't necessarily know Tim's stance. We haven't exactly talked about it in a while, but you know, people feel that people hate AI art. And I'm going to put that in quotes, just like it is on the Facebook or on the Reddit page, because for a few reasons. One, it's trained off of existing people's art,
real art,
So it's
robbing artists,
and
putting them in jeopardy. I get that.
So people have a big thing. And obviously, there's a whole fight against data centers right now because so all of that ties into the general hate. Now, here's where I'll draw a slight distinction. The post was, from what I could see, just a social media post,
right?
I don't give two craps about social media posts. That's not art. You're not claiming that as art. You're not, you take a picture of Ganon. Do you know how many times I've taken pictures of myself and my daughter and my family and just said, turn us into Muppets? Because it's fun. And my daughter loves Muppets. So
should you be paying
should I be paying the Sesame Street Broadcasting Company for that? Like,
maybe you should be paying Tim, who then, of course, gives a cut to Sesame Street when he draws it up for you.
It's crap like that. Like, cool. I'm not claiming this as art. I'm not trying to turn around and sell it on a disc like it's art. Now, I can understand people's aversion to someone taking just an idea, even though, again, I am much more liberal with this. Someone taking an idea and just saying, give me a picture of the 4th of July with some fireworks and a guy throwing a disc into a basket and then throwing it on it, having AI just create something and then putting it on a disc and then trying to sell it and not telling people it's created by AI. I get it. Like there is a distinction, but I also feel like this is, and again, we're diving right into after show stuff here. This is a tool. There will be just like photos 2 years ago, you could easily tell that's AI. You can't now, period. I can show you a photo and tell you, oh, look, I took this awesome picture of a hummingbird in my backyard. And you'd be like, oh, that's really cool. You'd have no clue if it was AI. None. Zero. And I could be telling you the truth. I could be lying. It's not like 2 years ago where you're like, nah, there's something shady. Why does that hummingbird have 3 wings? Things like that. Like, it is just a tool. Now, if I go and if I tell AI to create that long 4th of July thing, and then I look at it and I say, oh, I want the sky to be bluer. I want this person to be in this position. If is that different because it's a tool? You're putting more into it rather than just giving it a general thing. If I know specifically what I want, but I cannot personally draw it, or I don't have the skills to do Photoshop, then is it different if I'm feeding it? How is this much different than a movie director who is just telling people what shots to do? I want you to do this and this and this, and you've got another guy who does lighting, you've got one guy who does cinematography, you've got a set builder who's doing that. They're all making individual choices, and the director is coordinating that. So that's kind of how I feel like a lot of AI is. You can have, just like you can have crap movies where you look at it and go, oh my God, that lighting is awful. That acting is horrible. Whatever. You can have all of that, or you can have someone who's you can have Christopher Nolan out there doing these amazing scenes. I think that's how AI is going to be. People are going to be using this as a tool. In a few years, quote unquote art, there's going to be way less of a kickback, in my opinion, and we will still value people who do art, just like we value people who do photography. Right. And there's Photoshop. I'm sorry, like it's just a tool, and you can hate the tool for whatever reason, whether it's environmental, whether it's theft. There's a lot of reasons to hate AI, and I'm not going to question you on that.
Right. I understand, like you're saying, I understand the overall environmental impacts and what data centers are being built, and then how they're disrupting everything, and then all the tools and the resources, and there's so many other ways that we could be using it. I do get all of that. I'm saying just purely from the, if you can separate it, I don't know what the other practical way is for them to make a funny post that coordinates Legos with Gantt. It's not like they could be like, hey, we're going to go to the Lego field today and we're going to do a photo shoot with you and we're going to set up a disco. Like, you can't replicate that. And so to use AI, which was clearly then an AI, it's not like it was a secret and not like they were trying to pass it off as real.
Correct.
I guess I just don't understand. And maybe
I think it's overblown.
Will share more insights with me, but there clearly was a backlash.
There is.
And I don't think I fully understand it.
I don't either, because I can't see that perspective. I just again, if you're not passing it off as art, if it's just a fun thing, I get it. It's a social media post, for crying out loud. They're not even. I don't think they linked to something to sell. Like, it's just
right.
It's just a post. Like, and it's going to be more.
It's like a for fun post.
I
just for giggles or I don't know. Real quick, and of course I'm. This would be maybe the last thing I say on it. Yeah. Unless I can read more. Ed on the board says, "Hey Terry, just read some of the comments from Lindsay Marweed's post. Sounds like an arrest has been made."
Ooh.
And if that's true, even
hope they get some of their stuff
I was
back.
going to say, more important than the arrest for them is the fact that they just literally get some of these items back. Again, Lindsay even said it. She's like, you can replace a camera, you can replace the computer. It's just some of the contents that are on those things, whether they're backed up or not, or some of those family photos, I think, is the number one thing that just clearly cannot be replaced. When you're talking about, they're old enough that some of their family photos were probably physically printed, and that's the only version of them. So I think they're almost old enough for that. Yeah, they're close.
Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. The point is, like, those are the items. As we all know, you can replace a camera, hopefully with insurance money, but fingers crossed. So maybe I'll look into
all
that.
6 of my AI fingers
all
are
your
crossed.
AI fingers. That's a good call. It did make me think. It's funny how, not to drag it out too much more, but it's funny how excited we all got a couple of years ago, especially, and even to this day. You can take a photo on your phone right now, and because of some form of AI, you can be like, oh, take that person out. Take that lamp out. Take this out. Take these items out. Like,
or make it look better.
Yeah, or make it look better. Exactly. Lots of different settings.
Did you know there was a Samsung phone released last year that if you took a picture of the moon, it would literally erase the moon and put its own moon in there?
Yeah,
so everyone's moon looked the same?
Right.
And a lot of people have seen my moon.
I was going to say, too many. I'm not saying that far, but it's funny how reducing things out of a photo, everyone's like, this is awesome. Like, oh, hey, take out my ugly brother in the background. Remove these
Take
things.
out that girl. She cheated on me.
Right,
there goes my ex.
Exactly. But anyway, I digress. I do understand environmental impacts, and I understand some of the creative impacts, because I don't want artists getting ripped off, myself included. However, a social media post at a fictional world, that to me seems harmless.
Yeah, and again, I don't even consider that art.
Right. Like, I don't, and they were passing it off.
If I go outside, art. Terry, if I go outside and take a picture of you driving out of my driveway, that ain't art. That's just me being, take a picture.
Everything is art.
I think art.
You would argue otherwise. All right, with that, we're going to close it out. That's more than enough.
We'll get enough hate for this one, I'm sure.
I'm sure, and I, again, my point is, I'm trying to come from a world of understanding. What am I missing that there's such outrage? I get it.
Hey, why does everyone hate this?
No, somebody earlier today, speaking of outrage, on my
just always
my
ask,
video
why are you
for
so mad?
my Nerf video that I released, someone said he posted. I think it's he. I don't want to assume, but I'm pretty sure it was a he.
93% chance.
Right. Posted on my Instagram reel.
Okay.
It said, I don't know what it is, but Terry, but I hate this guy or something. I don't know what it is about Terry, but I hate this guy. He posted that on my wall, which feels weird. Like if you post it on someone else's wall,
sure,
like you'd be like, oh, I hate Terry over there. But you're on my account.
He wants everybody to know there's something about you he doesn't like.
And he says something.
That's the best place to post it.
In fact, his line was, I can't stand Terry. And I was like, okay, well, and I think I replied with something like, hey, thanks for making, and all the noise in this world. I appreciate that you took the time to cut through all of that to tell me on my page that you can't stand me. And then I think he used the R word and said something about this post is exactly why. And I was like, cool. So we're doing pretty good.
Hey, listen, I just like I made a joke a few weeks ago in an online discussion board, and I had an opinion that I shared, and at some point someone blocked me because I went to reply to a comment they made, and I didn't realize, and it was just like it kept denying me. It was in a Discord, and I was like, it's a good day. I had such a great opinion, someone blocked me. And if you don't have an opinion, then what's the point? Don't be milquetoast. What? We were going to wrap this up.
We were. I have to make 2 corrections. One was with Nate Doss earlier. I didn't have the heart to tell him how dumb he was. No. Earlier, Nate, this is such a stupid
when he said he was going to interview me, I'm like, yeah, you don't want to do that.
No. Earlier, he said Kenny's Worlds was in November of 90. It was in October. Doesn't matter. That's besides the point. More importantly, though, is I have misspoken and said that Worlds is in Estonia in 28 as in after Portland. It's not
29.
It's in 29 and it's in Lynchburg in 28.
Yes.
So that I misspoke on that. So I'm fully owning.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah,
right? Or I would have corrected you.
Yeah, because I was saying it's kind of a preview. It's Portland this year.
Oh, I missed
and then
that.
blah blah blah. Worlds next year is then we're in Estonia and we're not. We're not in Estonia next year for Worlds. We're in Estonia for another major, I think, next year, but
corrections.
Not for
SmashBox corrections.
Yeah, you'll be here all night. If you thought the show was long, somehow our corrections log is longer than the show. I think that says everything you need to know.
It does.
All right, with that, we're going to close it out. Big thanks to Nate Doss, 3-time world champ, jumping on the show. Best of luck to him and all of the crew this weekend for doing the little coverage thingy up at the Northwest Challenge. Hopefully everyone stays safe. Hopefully the days aren't insanely long because inevitably there's going to be a rain delay and then this gets postponed and then you're out early the next morning and then the day goes longer and then everyone's going to argue on Sunday about how many more holes can be played or can't be played. It's like the storylines are already written just due to the forecast. I can't wait.
Easy there, Kreskin. You get like an envelope by your head.
I'm like doomsday, already lining up.
I don't think there's supposed to be any rain on Sunday. Is what I
don't care.
But
still something.
I'm sure.
I think the internet's going to be mad about something. There's one thing we can count on.
AI rain. I blame it on the rain. So
I blame it on the alcohol. Blame it on the rain. All right. For Milli Vanilli, along with Johnny V, Nate Doss, I'm the Disc Golf Guy. That's podcast number 610. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have an after show, a whole stream of corrections. We'll see you then when you step inside the Smashbox.
Thank you to our $2 and above patrons. Your name is listed below in the credits. If you are interested in being listed as a producer in the SmashBoxxTV credits and supporting this and other fine podcasts, please visit patreon.com/SmashBoxxTV.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to SmashBoxx TV Podcast 610's
After Show. 610, Terry.
Right.
That is a long time. We've been doing this for what, 12 and a half years?
Yeah, just short of 13.
And the show's pretty much stayed the same.
For
For better or worse.
I was just going to say, are we doing an evaluation? Let me get my clipboard.
No. We have, that's there's something new.
All right, you're finally quitting.
No. We have something new, Terry. After 12 and a half years, we have new chairs.
Wait a minute.
I'll be back.
No, new chairs? We've had, the chairs we're even on right now haven't been consistent. And like the previous chairs, also not great.
What did we have before this?
At your other house, I feel like I was in a folding chair at one point.
Well, there might have been a folding chair.
Well. Oh, geez. Look at.
So,
if only, you guys are seeing it quickly in frame here for 1 second.
This is Terry's chair if you're watching on YouTube.
Hold on, I'll be right back.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know, we've been in these kitchen chairs right here.
Gammy's kitchen.
Yeah, these are from my
butt. Oh.
These are my wife's. I put that together. There's like a 14% chance it falls apart for you.
At least.
That's a $2,300 Herman Miller chair.
Right. Disc Golf Rich doesn't get us that.
It's a $300 Sihu.
It doesn't even make me look skinnier.
No, it doesn't. But yeah, this is. I didn't do any adjusting. I didn't have anyone of your stature to adjust. Everyone in my house is a little bit taller.
Oh, man. Dave over at the Dyers Guild just got a new chair. Wait a minute. Why is your chair bigger and better?
It's not better, but it is bigger. This is their XL model. It's taller. So the funny thing is,
but we're still the same height.
Well, I adjusted it yet. So, but yeah, this is. Yeah.
Wow.
So I honestly tried to get 2 black chairs because I want them to match. And I got an email from the company, and they said basically like, "Hey, we're all out of black chairs. Do you care if I send you white chairs?" And I was like, "Oh no, not at all. That's fine." Well, what they didn't tell me was that one was black and one was white. So the Sihu XL, SIHOO, we're not sponsored by them, but I did go down a huge rabbit hole of chairs.
Yeah.
Like I think I talked about this. There's a few people out there that just do these insane reviews of chairs.
Oh yeah.
So this is
all right. It's
and
cherry,
so yours has a headrest on the back.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know when I'd get to use that.
No, you won't. Just like this one, if I unlock it, it leans way back. I found out. I don't think I'll ever use it. I'm not going to nap in the chairs, but
yeah, at least not for this show.
Yeah,
I don't see any other uses. Well, nobody can see mine, and that's not even a big guy joke.
No.
It's just this. I think the style.
Yeah, it's just the style.
This
is the what they call the XL chair because it's got a higher back. So, and I don't have a headrest. Yours has a headrest. I tried sitting in that one, and the headrest dug into my shoulders. Oh. So, but we could lift up the headrest more. I didn't. Again, it's not adjusted.
Leaning back any more than this anyway. Wait. No, I mean. Yeah, thanks. It's actually it is comfortable.
Yeah, I found like the budget comfortable one that they said, and this is it. Otherwise, just like any chair, you can go up to like this. Again, this was $299, I think, maybe $399 or something. Damn. You can go up to like the $700 chair, which are like
chairs,
the gaming,
right?
which at that level is kind of what they consider the gaming chairs. My son has a really cheap version of the gaming chair, which I think we paid like $299 for. But I was like, I don't know if I want that. That one's a little more cushioned and this and that. And then they're like, well, that one's good, but if you really want, just at that point, just upgrade to the $1,100 chair. And at this point, I'm like, you know what? No, I'm just going to go with the $300 chair. And if I don't like it, I'm not going to be too upset. So yeah,
it feels way more comfortable than what the crap we have been sitting in
for like the last 10 years.
Yes.
Yeah, I do think at one point we were sitting on folding chairs.
Yeah, something of that nature. So
were they the ones that in the bag? I think like the bag chairs. I think.
no, I don't know if we did those, but I feel like a card table chair. I think I was.
Oh yes,
at
one point we did have a card table
Right,
chair.
yeah.
I think very early in the show.
All right. Well,
so finally, after
these
10 years,
feel
Patreon.
better.
Thank you, Patreon supporters.
Oh my
You helped
gosh.
pay for new chairs for Terry and I.
Wow, this is the 12 and a half year anniversary gift. What comes double this at 25 years?
Oh, footrest.
Yeah, why don't you build something?
New headphones,
for
maybe.
my little feet.
Now, the good thing is now I can put my feet on the little rollers up here because I was complaining that I couldn't do that. So
I don't know. This feels already more comfortable. Big shout out as well. Similarly, Dave, in developing the studio over at his house that we've been working out of, purchased a high top, like a higher sitting chair.
Oh, sure.
That's been a lot more comfortable to sit in as well lately. So
good.
All this sitting and talking we're doing. Somehow
I mean, if you're
paying
doing
off.
2 podcasts now, I mean, that's a lot of time.
Plus talking to these PDGA board members, I tell you.
Yeah.
It's yeah. All right. Well, thanks. What's the next surprise? I'm ready.
That's the only surprise we have.
Oh.
No.
One surprise in 12 and a half years is all I get.
Well, that's one more than my wife got.
Hey. Hey. Okay, then. All right. Now that your podcast is going to go downhill, I thought you were going to say
You're
it's
not
going to
wrong.
go longer. Now that we're comfortable, we
I
can
mean,
really-
some might equate longer to going downhill. So it depends on what you
is certainly
feel.
possible. Webb Warren says this is definitely the after show. Yes, Webb. We're here for it. So thanks for joining us, buddy. Hope you're doing well down there in Florida. Real quick, I can't say proud of myself.
This is interesting. I can like swivel my chair now and just
Look
like
at
turn.
And I can keep my chair not looking at you. It's great.
Like I used to do.
All 3 of our Patreon supporters from last week, because we had to draw extras, I was able to get all 3 of them shipped out. Tim, I believe you were one of them, right? So thank you guys very much. All 3 spanning over the last 3 weeks were shipped out a couple days ago. So thank you guys. Don't fall asleep mid podcast. Anything can happen.
I just unlocked it now.
Oh, there he goes, folks.
I'm going way. I can go way back now. If I just, I feel like this is the Yuli look. Like Yuli, I feel like is always
He's
like
chill.
super chill and
Way
laid back
back.
and relaxing. So I could kind of do this.
Speaking of Yuli, one of his co-hosts, I believe, a little conversation around one Brody Smith.
Yeah, doing a little bit more ultimate stuff.
Says both ultimate and or disc golf. Seems like he's got the urge again, at least right now. I don't know to what degree, and I think he's probably even tampering his expectations, but said something about maybe dipping back into the ultimate scene, and then he was out making disc golf content. So we just haven't seen as much of that lately because the guy's been out there like running every day.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm assuming he's still running and keeping in shape. The guy looks like he's in pretty good shape. But what I'll say about the disc golf content is cool. He might go out and make more disc golf casual videos. He's never going to be playing a tournament again. Like not a big tournament. Not
you
a
don't
DGBT.
think like
Nope. Maybe
getting a pass to go play like in an Austin when it's in his backyard, so to speak.
Nope.
What about
maybe an
event
A tier?
I was gonna say an event like the Memorial, just as one example.
Maybe something like that. Yeah, but you will not catch him playing at another DGBT event in his life.
Wow. Okay.
It's just it's not him anymore. Now I think he might dig a little bit more into ultimate, like maybe some leagues or maybe whatever, at I don't know the ultimate scene, but whatever his age bracket, if there's something specific, something more competitive for that, I could see him doing some of that stuff.
Sure.
That's totally in the wheelhouse. But yeah, no, Brody's never going to see the light of the DGBT ever again. Just he doesn't put in the practice. I don't think he wants to put in the practice. He just wants to play casually.
Yeah.
And that's good for him.
Speaking of playing casually, the other day, I managed to go out and play I had a goal of trying to get my steps in for the day, but then I was like, oh, I'll play disc golf while I'm doing it. Well, I went to our favorite little pitch and putt, one Valley View Park, to find out that I only got like wasn't even 4,000 steps in playing that 18-hole course.
Oh,
yeah. When I compare that to an entire walking as a reporter, taking a few shortcuts, but walking as a field reporter at Lynchburg got me like 10,000 steps by lunch. Well, so one round out there versus the 4,000 steps playing one round at Valley View. Then we played another round, which was a 2-disc round, still shy of my 10,000 steps. So very deflating to have this goal of trying to get in that many steps and to play 2 rounds at a course and still not get all the steps that I was looking for an entire day. But tells you just how short the Valley View. What I will say, and I mentioned this earlier about the quarry. The quarry is how I feel very similar to Valley View. Like, to me, they're almost unrecognizable from the sense of the way they've regrown.
Sure.
Like, I don't know what you remember about your last few visits out at Valley View when we played League there for a decade.
It's been a while.
It looked as if somebody stood in the parking lot with a handful of grenades, pulled the pin, and just threw the grenades down into the middle of the course. Just wood chips, dirt, mud, pits, a little bit of everything. It had gotten so much wear and tear for decades that it's like we just completely wore the piece of property out. Like it was made me feel
popular course for casuals.
Popular. And now you go to these same places that were that were dirt and wood chips for decades, lush green grass.
Really?
It's absolutely wild. And I feel the same way about going out to the quarry.
Yeah, no, the quarry is
old school course in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, right near Lake Michigan. Very short, easy course where the likes of Barry Schultz played. And same thing, that course, because they were so used, they were so heavily played, and there weren't as many options. And it makes me wonder, are people playing less? Are there less people playing? Or do we have so many course options that they're not taking, the few courses that are out there aren't taking all of the brunt?
I think the latter. I think the latter.
Yeah. It just is crazy. Like, as I said, almost unrecognizable when you're out there walking around at both of those places. And it's great because I feel like they're rejuvenated and are now looking that much more. They look more beautiful today than they did 20 years ago.
That's great. I can't wait to go out and see them.
I
know the quarry. I saw that just a year or two ago.
Yeah.
But I can't wait to go out and see Valley View.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to see.
More courses.
Here's kind of a side note that goes along with actually seeing courses. I went to a different course yesterday, which I haven't played in more than a decade. Played the back 9 in more than a decade. And it's 15 minutes from my house, Wales.
Okay.
Which is a course that I helped coordinate. I remember working with the city. I kind of spearheaded the project for getting this course in. I think I made a presentation or two to the city board, helped generate and coordinated like the $18,000, whatever it was, from various donors all over the place. The Milwaukee disc golf community being, by and large, the ones who contributed the most. Individuals, companies, everything in between, roughly raised $15,000 or $18,000, whatever it was at the time. To go out there to this property and see that the main message board and all 18 of the T signs have been redone. None of which recognize any of those prior sponsors.
That's tough.
How should I feel about that?
I mean, it depends on what the sponsors were sold on. Were you sold on a lifetime sponsorship? Like, if you pay us $1,000, you get hole 3 and whatever. How long do I expect that to last? Is that forever? Is that
ever?
Miss
Jackson?
And then who maintains that?
Right.
It's like you said, 10 years, you really haven't been there that much. Who's the local course pro? That's like, this isn't like a golf course,
right?
Where you have an institutional history. This is just, who's the course pro? All right, yeah. oh, guess what? No one's been this course pro for a while. I'm gonna be the course pro now.
Right. Yeah, and I went from originally being a little bit frustrated and upset to thinking this, if anything, this falls on me. I was the guy that helped coordinate it all.
Sure.
And at some point, I lost contact with the city or the village or whatever it was. And then at some point, when they wanted to do some type of updates, they took it upon themselves. Understandably, when it also brings to light, and maybe this is why I'm sharing it with so many people. If you're in that position of generating a course and you're looking for course sponsors, do exactly what I didn't do. Set some expectations. Say, hey, you're going to be the whole sponsor. We're going to put you on the T sign. Maybe we, put you on the bench right next to it or whatever. We're going to recognize you in whatever way. Give them a minimum amount, and anything after that is potentially just bonus. Hey, you're going to be the T sign sponsor for the next 5 years.
Yeah, I was going to say 5 years feels like a good
is.
Safe number. If a course goes in, usually you don't see major changes to it within the first 5 years. Obviously, that can change. That anything can happen. You can get a course put in, and then a year later, the city votes on something strange.
Sure.
But I think that having setting expectations is really the ideal way when you're dealing with a corporate sponsorship like that.
Right.
And say, we're going to get, this is 5 years, and then after that, gravy.
Yeah, and I think, and this happened in a similar sense to another nearby course that me and another buddy helped install 20-some years ago. When they were going to redesign and redo things for the parks, the signs had gotten worn out, the signs had become dilapidated, and then they started changing some holes. Then they wanted to update the T signs and then update some baskets. And at that point, the city just said, well, we're going to go out and get sponsorship for all that. I'm like, no. Like, Dane, our buddy, donated $500 for that hole, or our other buddy Pat Hamill donated $500 for that hole, or the Wisconsin Disc Sports Association paid $1,000 and essentially sponsored 2 of the holes. Our club donated blah 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 blah. All 18 of these holes were bought and paid for, and they were basically saying, yeah, that was all fine and dandy, 6, 8, 10 years ago. Now we want to redo it, so we're going to go resell it all, and that is kind of similar to what happened here at this other. I bring it all up because I think about how you want to present it, and if you're not going to be hands-on, or someone that's going to be hands-on with this property moving forward, there's always that chance of losing that legacy. Now, I know that if you donated, which you didn't, but if you had donated $500 for a hole to go in, at that time, it was awesome, it was exciting, it was new. Clearly, you're not too worried 10 years later when you go back out there and be like, hey, where the F's my hole? You're probably, if you were gracious enough to do it in the first place, you're probably not concerned about your recognition 10 or 15 or 20 years later, hopefully. But I also don't want people to feel underappreciated or ungrateful. And so it's funny to go out there because right now, I'll give them the shout out. Right now, it says all 18 T signs have Madison Automotive, which I assume is a local company. I've never even heard of them. Madison Automotive is on every T sign. And then it says something about Subway, the local Subway, making things possible. Neither of which were original sponsors. But if you go out there today, it looks like they've put in the course, or they're sponsors of the course. So
yeah,
all this is a long-winded just kind of PSA about managing either expectations or having something in writing with a city, because also parks people get replaced. I mean, I went into a parks department, and if everybody there is in the average age of 60 at the time, or 70 when I'm making these pitches, 10 or 15 years later, when I'm still a young chipper buck, and they're not, of course, even their knowledge gets, isn't necessarily, documented and put in place. So all that to say, think about those things if you're seeking out sponsors for a potential course, how and where they can or will be recognized, and maybe that's another place is something like I know it's a little more present day, but whether it's a website or even a Facebook page or something that's like, hey, our original founders of this course, here were the 18 original sponsors, somewhere where it's documented and archived to some degree. Put it on Reddit. That'll be here forever.
Yeah. I kind of think I don't care.
Correct. And I'm not saying a lot of people are like laying in bed at night being like, they took my name off that sign. I'm not saying that, but you
Yeah.
do. I mean, we just talked about a whole podcast talking about archiving history.
Yeah.
I think it is nice to at least generally somewhat do your best to recognize the people that have contributed to a course in some capacity.
It would be nice, but nothing is forever. I mean, just that's the way.
No, don't say that.
I know, Terry. I know. Just a website goes away.
Of course.
You know,
even an admin of said website dies.
Like you just.
I understand.
It's just not. I mean, we have our names up at.
Anymore.
Token
Creek?
Token Creek. Yeah.
I don't know if they're still there.
I don't know either.
Well, let's raise a stink.
That's what I'm. You know, that's what
they only put your name on it, if I recall. Didn't it say like Johnny and the Milwaukee Boys or something like that?
I had my own. It was like Terry and the Crew or something, and then I also had my own. I believe is what it was.
I don't remember
because it was.
Well, damn it, I'm mad about it. Clearly,
it's for somehow when we all donated, my name got pulled out separate and put on a plaque,
right.
Even though we all donated as a group,
right?
As like kind of a big club, and so it was just
Johnny didn't even correct it.
No, well, it was already by the time we saw it, like that first day it was open. There's nothing you can do about it. And then I aced hole 1, so I earned it.
Right. Well, I mean that's true.
That's what it comes down to.
Avier says, Dane, haven't heard or seen him forever. I swear he always played the first round of every tournament we were both together at. He was always good to throw. Certainly.
Yeah, I haven't seen Dane in a few years.
Yeah, it's been a minute as well. So, but his discs fly daily. Every time I go out, I've got at least one or two that
I imagine
have his name on them, as I've been throwing them quite a bit lately. Anyway, something I thought about. Take it or leave it.
I mean, that's your new podcast, you know, getting horses in the ground.
Right.
So
anyway. What else have we been seeing?
Not much, Terry. I'm still working.
What are you printing? You got a new 3D printer.
I do. It's the same stuff, Terry. I'm printing
so many. You printed a chair, but you didn't.
I did not print a chair. Lots of organizational stuff. I printed these 5-inch holders for my orbital sandpaper. You know, got to have the different grits. They're all labeled, so I don't have to dig into a drawer and try to find like, oh, where's my 80 grit sandpaper or my 220 or my 320. Now they're all on my desk in a nice little bin, each one labeled, and I can get into.
Because where were they before?
They were in a drawer. So now they're in like this nice little holder that goes up, and I can get one out, and they're labeled. And
perfect.
That's what I've been abusing right now is really just organization, and that's what I do love is I have birthed, not me personally, my wife did, a CAD operator. So I was hanging. I needed to hang something on my garage door on the inside. TSO parallel clamps, shout out. And there are, I think I said this, there's like Gen 1 and Gen 2. Gen 2 just came out a few months ago, if that. And I got that pair because I never had any of the Gen 1 ones. And these are really nice. Basically, they make sure you have consistent cuts and sizes and whatnot. So there's like one organizer so one person who modified the Gen 1 to the Gen 2, and the print was just bad. And so I printed one off. I'm like, this really sucks. It doesn't work well. It's this and that. I said, there's a few changes I could make. So I wandered into my kids' room. I sat down. I said, hey, I want you to fix this. I said, it's a pretty basic, simple shape. And that kid, he's so good with CAD, with AutoCAD, and just
is he
programming.
All of the architect you never were?
He probably couldn't draft anything.
Okay.
He probably couldn't do a house like I could, or probably still could actually. But only because I watch a ton of home improvement shows and actually building shows. I think I could still do a fairly decent drawing. But when it comes to more mechanical drawing, I was just like, hey, I need this. Can we move this screw hole up this way because this gear gets in the way? And he's like, yeah, sure. And he's like, oh, yeah, I just have to hit this and hit these buttons. And he's like doing shortcuts with his finger, like watching you edit video. And I'm just like, wow. I told him, I said, this would have taken me like 6 to 8 hours. And he said, maybe. You're lucky. I was like, you little jerk. It took him 20 minutes. And I was just like, wow. So now I realize if I ever want or need anything, like, I'm just gonna just grab him because he's
Why-
super good at
why
it.
mess with it?
I'm not even gonna learn this stuff.
Why bother?
He lives under my roof. He'll live by my rules.
Yeah, you got an AI son.
That's right. I just have an AI son. So he drafted up this thing, and I'm gonna actually put it out on Maker World and say, hey, this is a better upgraded version drafted from scratch. And this works way better than the one that's out there. It's just a better model. And so I'm going to put that out there and not give him any credit, which is great.
Right.
Why would I? But yeah, so super cool to have something like that. And that's a 3D printer that I've been messing around with. I'm almost out of filament. I have a tiny bit of green. I bought a beginner's pack. I've got maybe 100 grams of gray, maybe 100 grams of black. I just have some new filament arrived upstairs. At least one roll. I ordered 4. I'm waiting for the other ones to come in. And then I'll be able to do something. I want to print some stuff off for my car. I want to print a little garbage can that fits perfect right in between the seats. I want...
Is most of that...
Yeah.
There's already designs and plans out
yeah.
there for almost all of that, right?
100%.
We should Google. You know what I need? Can we print me a new Mazda 6 key fob? I think like the outer brain, the inner brains are fine, but I don't think I have it with
Probably.
me. But yeah, I think I broke the outer piece of it. And I was thinking today, like I could probably order that. I've tried to order one other time and it was expensive. Why doesn't that just get printed or something else that? Don't make me flex, but it's a Mazda 6.
Mazda 6
from 2021.
Key fob.
Oh wow! Or you know what would be cool? Rather than like a basic ass key fob, like. Yeah. One that actually did look cool, that fit the brains from my existing key fob. That would actually be even cooler.
Don't you have 2 key fobs?
Yeah, and I broke one, and the other one's works, but I'd like them both to work.
No, I get that. I'm just wondering.
But yes, I do. I technically do have 2.
Because then you could easily take whatever's the inside. I could have my kid cat it, and then you just put whatever you want on the outside.
Well, that's what I'm just saying. Like, is there a cool?
Yeah, I'll volunteer my kid. I just make him. I'll wake him up right now.
Get in here,
damn it, kid!
I'm just saying. I'm surprised that somebody doesn't have. I'm not seeing one that's like already like the actual here.
Yeah, I know. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
I guess that one is probably close, and obviously it's not like. But I'm just talking like this piece.
Sure.
Yeah, like. If I could take the whatever the basic guts are out of that and then put it in a new casing, because I definitely broke one of the sides on my other one.
Weird. You.
Well, I was trying to do something.
That's not shocking.
Somehow I don't know how it broke, but yeah. It's my kids. I'll blame my kids.
Yeah. I printed a phone holder for out in my garage, so I can just. Because I've got some French cleats on my wall that I hang things on that I printed one so I can just put the phone on it rather than wherever, and just little life things.
Yeah, you're just life hacking away.
I'm just life hacking away, Tear Bear.
All right, let's read some stuff off the board. Talking a little NBA stuff. I don't know how far Wemby could throw, but I bet he would be 100% from C1X. He can drop it in from 32 feet.
Yeah, we've got the Spurs with
David Robinson.
No,
Probably?
Tim Duncan.
Oh, Duncan.
Yeah, Tim Duncan.
Okay.
Against the Knicks.
Gosh, could I name another Spur from any decade, let alone even the 90s, though? I mean, yeah, David Robinson. And then there's another one that I can't quite pull. What am I thinking of? There was one other. Oh, maybe those were the 2, from the 90s.
You have to think of NBA Jam. Who did you play in NBA? Who did you play
He's
in?
on fire. Funny story about NBA Jam. Let me quickly share.
Sure.
The gentleman that helped program, I just saw this on the internet, so I figure I share. I saw it like yesterday. One of the gentlemen who was one of the main programmers for NBA Jams, or Jam, was either from Detroit or was a Detroit fan. He coded it so that I think he said if the game was close at the end and you were a Bull player against Detroit, the Bull player wouldn't make the shot.
Nice.
Like he like coded that into the game.
Yeah.
Under like, I don't know if it was a clutch shot or whatever the scenario was, but it's something along the lines of it was really close.
Good for him.
You had the Bulls and you were playing against the Pistons. He coded it so that you would not be making like a clutch, like last minute shot or something of that nature. I just saw that a day or two ago, and I thought that's such a funny story to hear 30 or 40 years later, is to hear something of that nature.
I just pulled up the 90-91
There's gotta be
Spurs.
Who am I?
Terry Cummings, maybe, who actually ended up being a
Milwaukee
Buck coach.
No, but I wasn't thinking of him. Robinson. No, okay. I guess I couldn't. Maybe
Rod
Sean
Strickland.
Higgins. No, I don't think I could. I would have. None of those names. Sean Elliott. I don't think so. I don't know if I would have pulled any of those.
No,
names.
I wouldn't have pulled any of those.
I guess not. I just think back to my card collecting days.
Yep.
Of who I would have maybe go to like the 93-94 season and see if there's anyone. There's got to be another name of another.
I'm sure there is.
Of somebody else that like I was actually thinking of when I think of the Spurs.
Sure. 1994 Spurs roster.
This is what we're here for.
Yeah, this is what everybody's here for. Antoine Carr.
Dale Ellis.
No.
Did Dale Ellis play for?
I mean, Dennis Rodman was on there for a little while, but that's not where most people remember him from.
No, okay. I don't know who I was thinking of then.
I'm sure when
Sleepy Floyd.
Yeah, I'm sure. So yeah.
Earlier, it was funny during the regular show when Doss was talking about interviewing your heroes or whatever, and he said, "Oh, if you're a big Bulls fan, you interview Jordan." I just immediately thought, or you mean Robinson, right? You'd interview Rodman. You'd interview Dennis Rodman, right? Like,
Pippen.
I just think about obviously so many stories about Rodman and the wild.
Were you thinking maybe Tony Parker?
Tony Parker.
Yeah.
But what year was that?
That was a little bit later. That was more the Tim Duncan years.
Okay.
I mean, he might have overlapped with Robinson. I don't know, but
yeah.
Manu
So-
Ginobili.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought that was funny, that NBA GM story that I just heard a couple days ago. Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, some names getting thrown in off the board, which makes sense.
It's no Tony Kukoc, but
Yeah, right. What was he? The Croatian sensation? Was that
the Croatian sensation. Yes, very good, very good.
Yeah, those were the days.
I realized, Terry, that I'm becoming an old man.
Really?
Like more and more. I don't feel like an old man, but just in general.
Okay.
I ordered like lawn fertilizer for my yard, and I was ordering it today.
So you can say, "Get off my lawn,"
so I can yell at kids, "Get off my lawn."
Uh-huh.
I was like, oh, I can go Home Depot and grab some. I was like, oh no, I can go to Amazon and probably order it cheaper. Sure enough, it was like
might as well pay that a-hole that is Bezos.
$10 a bag cheaper, you know? Then I was thinking, like, this is what my life has come to, huh? Like, lawn fertilizer.
Right.
Like, I'm
and probably watching some reviews and or reading reviews on various lawn fertilizers before making your decision.
I did not go into lawn fertilizer.
Didn't even do real research then.
No, I did do a little research only because it came up about grass seed.
Oh,
and how the Scott's grass seed is horrible because you get half of what you normally pay for because they put a special, like, if you look on the back, they put like a special shell on it that's supposed to help retain water.
Okay.
So really, and that weighs up to 50% of what the grass. So if you're paying for 10 pounds of grass seed for Scott's, you're really only getting 5 versus 10 pounds of seed with another company.
But the shell clearly has some benefit.
It probably
retains the water.
It probably helps retain the water. But if you're looking to buy 10 pounds of seed, you think, oh, this is going to cover my front yard for I'm overseeding in fall or something. You're going to have to buy twice that amount.
Huh.
I know. That again, old man. I was doing a little bit. I was like, oh, it's June. I don't pay that much attention to my lawn. But my wife the other day, we were driving by the person on the corner, and she was like, damn, their lawn looks like green. And at that point, I was like, my lawn's okay. And it's not. My lawn sucks because I don't pay any attention to it and I don't do much to it. But so I thought, maybe this is the summer. I'll take care of it and then see how it looks next year because it's always a year out basically. That's how I know I'm an old man in that, I'm not going to be out there, mowing every day. I still only mow like once every week or two when I look out and I go, oh, geez, I need some mow.
What?
But
I'm
definitely
lines,
an old man.
There's so many different ways to take this. First of all, I'll quickly say last night I was leaving the gas station and I held open the door for what I believe are some 20-something-year-olds. I say that because I think they were both at least at the legal limit of drinking as they had wandered in. And when I held the door open as they were approaching the door at the gas station, one of them said, "Thank you, sir." And I was like, not the sir. Like I mean, I was old enough to likely be her father. I get that. But just thank you, sir. Just did not it did not hit right. Yeah. Not that I'm expecting, thank you, you dime, you 40-year-old fox over there. I'm not expecting that either. No. But thank you, sir. Just like thank you would have sufficed. But thank you,
or just like
sir.
A thanks. But no, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. That hit pretty hard.
I get that a little bit because with my kids' friends, okay,
they're more respectful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, going back to the lawn issue or the lawn, we're
talking lawn talk. You got some lawn talk.
Long talk. When do you see going back to like the whole AI conversation? Maybe some just robots in general. When do you just get a robot lawn?
They're so expensive for the good ones. I've looked into it. When I moved into this house 5 years ago, 5 years ago, I was like, oh, I need a riding lawnmower because I started to push mow it, and I realized that after I brought my push mower from my postage stamp lawn that I had in the city of Milwaukee, came up here and I started pushing and pushing, and I got like 45 minutes in, and I was like, I did like a quarter of my yard. Like, that's a long day. I'm not gonna
a long day.
That's a long day. I ain't got this kind of time. So literally, I stopped mowing. I went online and I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna buy a rider. So I bought a rider. I don't regret it. I like the rider, but I'm watching these reviews online of these robot mowers,
right?
And I think like, oh, that's really cool. They would mow more often than I would.
Right.
But I can't justify it when I have a very expensive riding lawnmower.
Roughly what is your riding lawnmower cost?
I think like $3,500.
Damn. Okay.
I got it like a 42-inch zero-turn Toro.
Okay. Enough a humble brag.
All right. Yeah.
But there's no way one of these little guys costs more than that. You just made a poor decision at the time.
No, I mean, granted, I could have probably picked up like a John Deere for like $1,200 or something, a decent one. I wasn't at that point. After again, I had originally just planned on push mowing it, and that ain't happening.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You compare your $3,500 one you got compared to a robot. What do the robots run?
A good robot is running $2,500 to $3,000.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. You should have just bought the robot right away instead of.
Yeah, but there was no robots back then. That were nearly what they have now. That's the problem. That was if to do it over, I would just get a good push mower and a robot now.
Yeah, I'm looking at
Yeah.
First time I ever saw one, funny enough, was in Estonia. It was 2023. It was my first time going to Estonia.
Mm-hmm.
And I was driving through the countryside wherever I was going, and I pull into a gas station, or excuse me, petro station there probably, to get some petro. And there are two of them out in and I'm kind of in the middle of nowhere, but there's two of them in two different sections of the property. And they're both going to town mowing. It was the first time I'd ever seen one.
Oh, sure.
I maybe even knew they existed, actually. I don't even know if I knew that much.
I've known they've existed for a while because...
Well, it was the first time. I'm like, what the hell? What is going on out there? Mm-hmm. And sure enough, two robots mowing the lawn. I'm like, I guess that makes perfect sense. I mean, it was almost nothing there anyway, blah, blah. I know they're programmed, but yeah, it was... it's like Why doesn't everybody have that?
Yeah, the first time I saw one in person was actually up the street. We were going for a walk as a family, and I was walking by someone's house, and there it was. It was just, it was kind of following the contours of the yard. And I sat and stared at it. I said, that would be great. That would be great, because I wouldn't have to mow the lawn. I'm not, in general, I'm not a lawn guy. I think that's like a specific type of guy. You're just like, I'm really into my lawn. I don't want a crap lawn, but I don't really, again, if it gets too long, I don't care that much. I just think of it from the ease of not having to do it for me. Cool, guess what? That's going to save me, in general, 45 minutes to an hour every week or so. But is that worth it to me? Not when I have the mower and it still works just fine. But my boss, his brother is the head groundskeeper for Trump Doral, which is down in Florida. Like, that's like Trump's main golf course.
Okay.
He is the head's groundkeeper. He grew up in Florida, moved up to Baltimore, where he got a job up there at a golf course, and now he came back home to Florida, and he's the head guy there. So his name is Joe. I've talked to him, and like, we were kind of chatting. This was a couple months ago, because he was in town to visit with his brother, and who's my boss, and he was in the office. And we're talking, and he was like, yeah, we have 6, 7, 8 of those remote mowers. He's like, they just go out in the morning. They mow all of the areas that like the customers will see, and some of the fairways. They never touch the greens. The greens are done specifically, whatever. He's like, we get them out there first thing in the morning, because I think their first like tee times are like 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. or something. Okay. He's like, so they get them out there by 5, get that all done. And he was complaining. He's like, it's not ideal because the grass is still wet and these don't work as well. But he's like, but you do what you have to do. But yeah, they just have them wandering around all day in different areas, and they just go out. They do everything until they're about to run out of charge, and they drive themselves back. They charge, and when they're done charging, they go back out and do it again. And it's all automatic. He's like, it saves us at least one person's worth of labor just to have these, and they do it all the time. So,
be any jobs left for us soon.
Hey, I'm okay with that for me. If I'm gonna have a little mower robot chew up my lawn, I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'm seeing 2,300, 2,800, 3,200.
Yeah, it depends on the kind you want. Like, and what are you?
2,000. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
up to a half acre.
Yeah, and if you want, obviously, depending on how much you want it to mow and how often. I'll have one at some point, but it'll probably be 3, 4, 5 years before they come down in price, where It's like, oh, cool, I can get one off Amazon for $5.99, and that'll be perfect for me or something. Because I also thought, what's going to happen? I've got in front of my house like a drainage ditch. It's all whatever. It's where we put shrubs and stuff, and the city comes picks them up. But that's the job of my son to mow. It's his job. He doesn't have a lot of jobs around this house, lazy little. But he's got that one. And he uses our old push mower for that, because I can't get in there with the rider or I'm going to tip over and die. Yeah. And what am I going to do when he's gone? I'm going to have to mow that myself.
And that's when you bring him home from college and say, boy,
it's different.
You got to mow this weekend before you can go anywhere.
I'm curious out on the board, or if you're listening this after the fact, if you maybe have ever done this. My son got invited to something out in Eau Claire called Badger Boys State. I don't know how he got on the list. I don't know how he got invited.
Badger State.
We are the Badger State.
Clear on that. Yep.
But apparently this is a nationwide kind of thing that the the Veterans Association sponsors every year. It's free. So he gets to go out, and I can't believe he's actually interested in it, but sure. So he's going to bus out to Eau Claire on the week after school ends, and he's going to go through a week at Eau Claire where they talk about and they teach civics.
I was going to say, yeah, okay, leaderships, civics. Okay,
like, it's literally simulating state, local, federal government with an emphasis on respecting veterans and, as they called it, even like Americana.
Okay.
Very much a rah-rah USA kind of thing.
Okay.
And he's interested. He's like, I think it'd be kind of cool to do this whole leadership thing. They did this local thing where he got to be the mayor, the guy when he was like in 7th grade.
Sure.
And
like BizTown?
Kind of like that, yeah.
Okay.
And so he got to be the mayor, and he was super excited about that. And I think he's had a little kind of a tweak for that stuff since then. So he's going to go out. I saw this on the table. I'm like, what is this? And I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, no, he's not going to be interested in this. Sure enough, he's interested. So I'm curious if anyone on the board has gone and done anything like this, or if anyone on wants to comment on the video and talk about your experience with it. I've done a little bit of research last year. There was someone who wrote up a huge 7-day experience of what it was, and he said it's a bunch of teenage boys. Because it's only boys. They do Badger State boys, and then a week later they do Badger State girls.
Oh, okay.
Keep them all separated. Ooh. I know. And he said at one point, this comment, I didn't talk to my son about this, but this party, these group of guys, boys, started their own their own government, their own party, and they called it the Gooner Party.
Wow.
And for those of you who are too old to know, Gooner is a term for self-pleasuring. And so their big platform for the Gooner Party was to get Badger State girls at the same time as Badger State boys. And
that was their agenda.
Obviously the whole thing is simulating government. And apparently, and this guy was he had this whole thread on it. And he's like, yes, it was funny. It was a little distracting because you had 20 or 30, but there's 700 kids there. Yeah. 20 or 30 of them that are not really taking it too seriously. But I read this guy, and he had very positive things to say. But he did say, he's like, that was definitely the most interesting thing. But you get 700 teenage boys together, and there's going to be some goofs.
Well, I'll just say a few things that jump out at me. I've never heard of it before. It's under badgerboystate.org. Mm-hmm. It's right in my wheelhouse price wise.
Free,
yeah. 99. If it's free, it's for me.
I wouldn't have paid for it.
Right. No, but it's free. It says it's funded by all these different scholarships and Samsung, Marion University, UW-Eau Claire, colleges, so on, and are sponsoring it, which is great, and donations. So that's really cool to see. What it reminds me of, and you and I were not pals at this time, but what it reminds me very much of is when I was in 6th, 7th, 8th grade, my good friend's dad, who was a lawyer. Yeah, my dad's a lawyer. You beat up your dad. No, he was a lawyer, and he was one of the main volunteers at the YMCA, which is where he also played volleyball and racquetball. Racquetball, a sport I hadn't been introduced to yet. And I was like, what are those weird guys doing in this glass cage thing? But he was a volunteer administrator of sorts of what was called the Youth in Government program.
Oh, sure.
And this sounds very, I don't want to say identical, but I can imagine. Not quite a feeder system to that either, but a lot of crossover. And the whole Youth in Government program was completely volunteer as a kid. You would go there and I think it was on Monday nights, because that's how I got introduced to Subway, because we'd go to eat at Subway before we went over to the Y. It was across the street.
Yeah.
And that's where I fell in love with Subway. And then it ended up working. Yeah, I was 14, because I remember that's when I started working at Subway. So I was around that age. Anyway, we'd go and we'd learn how literally government worked. I know, and it sounds so incredibly boring. For many people, I know, I guess the outlook of politics has changed over the last couple of decades in terms of involvement and overall awareness. I never really sat down with my parents and ever talked about governmental things.
No.
I feel like that's becoming more normalized for the younger generations. But we went, and on Monday nights, we would have these things, and we would talk about it. And then at the end of the year, you went to Madison, our state's capital, and all of these different chapters of all these youth and government programs would convene in Madison, and we'd have mock bills and floors and representative. We did it all.
Sure.
You literally would go there and you'd present a bill and you do all these different types of things. So it sounds very, very, very similar. In fact, I don't even know if maybe that program doesn't exist, but this seems like one that has a lot of the similar qualities to it.
There is a small seed in the back of my head.
That was co-ed, though, which was one of the... that was very much one of the perks. why I enjoy it.
I can imagine. One of the like tiny little seeds in the back of my head is all I think is, I don't know why, but like cult. Like I worry that like some sort of weird indoctrination of my kid, and like I'm proud to be an American, rah rah rah, but like are they really gonna drill that kind of thing, or I don't know. But
is there a lean to it?
Exactly.
Are you learning the process, or are you is there any kind of slant or lean one way or another?
Exactly. That's the only thing I worry about. And my kid's, he takes after his mom and dad. He takes after me. He's very, as I think a lot of kids probably do. So I'm not super worried, because he's kind of has, I think he has he watches out of the corner of his eye a little bit for a lot of different things. But yeah.
Interesting. I'm, it's so funny now and some of my favorite memories ever. Wisconsin Youth in Government through the YMCA. This is the Fox Cities. It's a picture of them in the state's capital. And they have the conferences. Yeah. So it sounds all like it's probably still going on, but different committees passing bills. And that's like, at a certain point, that's where I learned a lot about, actual the lawmaking process way back at the time. And then it was really all about getting together and having that fun time in Madison for a weekend. But yeah, anyway, grades 7 through 12 form a YIG, Youth in Government delegation, through their school or through their local YMCA.
Time to create the Gooner Party.
Students can choose to serve as legislators, judges, attorneys, media representatives, or cabinet members. Leading to the conference, students work together for their local delegations to prepare materials for their program areas, listen to speakers, and practice their presentation skills.
I told my son if he's not president, he doesn't come home.
Right?
Like, honestly, then you're just a failure.
Yeah. What are you
I don't want no
doing,
senator.
kid?
I don't want no, like, city councilman. Dude, you shoot.
Alderman? Come on.
Yeah. Shoot for the top.
Yeah. Good call.
That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. All right, Terry. We have a giveaway that we're going to do this week. Patreon.com/SmashBoxxTV. You can be eligible for this giveaway if you go to patreon.com/SmashBoxxTV or Patreon. No. Yeah, you can do that. You can sign up there or go to smashbox.tv/weekly giveaways, all of which are available to you. We have currently, again, 93 people eligible for our giveaway this week. I'm going to bring up the random.org generator. Oh, I already have it open on another tab. I want to open multiple tabs.
No.
Gosh. Let me just adjust that number as I refreshed the page. All right, here we go. Random.org, Terry. What number should we generate?
I mean, just to switch it up a little. We had 3-time world champ Nate Doss on the show, so third time's a charm.
I was going to say 3, but for a different reason. Stork. PDJ number 003.
That works as well. And if you missed it, as I know a couple of you have jumped in late, including you, Artie. I don't know where you were, what you were doing, why you weren't here on time. But we had Nate Doss on the show, and the big announcement earlier is that Nate Doss and I are doing a podcast called Out of Production. First episode drops tomorrow at noon Central, and it is kind of we'll say a historic look at the pioneers and pillars of the disc golf community throughout the last few decades, and getting stories from incredible people. And new podcast drops tomorrow. And our first guest was, in fact, Dan Stork Roddick, PDJ number 003. So
in honor of him, we're going to generate 3 numbers, and the third one will be the winner. The first number is 11. The second number is 8. If the third number is 3...
Steve Maddle's number was PDJ number 8.
And our third and final number is 7.
Wow, all low.
Kept them low this week. Get low.
Apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur. Okay. I feel like there's something wrong about going from Stork conversation to Flo Rida in the same sentence.
There is nothing wrong with that, Terry. Number 7 is Baron Pull. Baron.
Oh, nice.
Pull, P-U-H-L. I think that's what it says.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's been a minute, but I recognize the name. It has been a minute since they've won, so congrats.
Thank you very much, Baron.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I have, I guess I didn't bring it in. It's still in the trunk. I have a a PDGA Asia disc from brought over from Asia during the early part of the season that I was going to send out. So that'll probably be what gets sent your way. So thanks, Baron.
Very, very cool.
Speaking of cool things,
which we have never done. We've never spoken of anything cool.
We're not cool, but Ben Askren.
Oh, I
is
saw
going to be wrestling.
I don't know about this.
Guy, less than a year ago on our show, we were talking about him having him literally fighting for his life,
like a double lung transplant,
and then goes on to have a double lung transplant, and just announced yesterday that he is in I think what's called the Real American Fighters.
Yeah, and it's not even like, oh, we're going to do this in September or next January. It's in like a month, or this month maybe even. Or maybe it's July.
I think it's July.
Is it July? Like, dude, that to me, I don't know how. And clearly, he's going to get he's going to get doctor's approval and whatnot.
Right.
Probably has to for insurance reasons. That just, I want to say it doesn't sound smart, but I trust.
Right.
You know, I trust he knows his body and stuff, but that doesn't sound smart, Terry.
I didn't believe it. I was like, it's July 18th.
I saw it on Twitter. So,
first of all,
and he posted like,
right,
and that's when I was like, really?
It's July 18th, 8 p.m. Eastern, so 7 p.m. local time for us. It's here at the UWM Panther Arena.
Yeah, I know. It's here in town, which is why he's probably doing it.
In Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I don't, clearly, like a lot of things, I don't know much about necessarily that organization, the RAF, which I think is it Real American Fighter? Whatever it is, great. I think that's awesome.
Because I think it's just
in the cruiserweight. Will go down. It will stream live on Fox Nation.
It's just wrestling. It's not.
Yeah, it is not
MMA.
like MMA.
It's true, pure wrestling,
right.
like your kid does in high school.
Right.
Which maybe clearly is less physical as far as danger.
Right. So you should try and get in with it.
Oh, God, no. And again, as far as danger, no one's hitting you
right.
or punching you, you know, unless you're a high schooler. Do you see that video? Like the high school kid that knocked out the other kid? One kid was on top of another one, pushed his head down, stood up, and walked away. And the other kid walked up and cold cocked him and knocked him out. Rightfully so, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that kid shouldn't have pushed his head.
And so I don't know. So maybe there's something in that you know, it's less dangerous, so to speak, the regular wrestling.
I don't care what it is.
But amazing. If he is in a condition that he can go ahead and do this and be competitive, that is something to be said. It's amazing. Dude, it was like just 3 months ago he was getting winded walking up hills or something.
Right. Yeah,
damn.
I don't know anything about what he's getting into, but I don't care if it's anything remotely physical, and he's doing it in front of a live audience in a legitimately competitive way. It may not be life and death competitive like potential MMA match, but I don't care what it is. It's something rigorous and competitive,
good for
him, insanely athletic. And I had to do I'm like, there's no next year, right? And like you said, no. Like 6 weeks from now.
Yeah, that's
6 or 7 weeks from now. That's absolutely crazy.
Insane.
So. Something else we didn't touch on, and I think you and I are probably both on the same page of this, so you guys will have to apologize. We'll have to apologize because you'll have more insight. The little I read or saw, it seemed as if Gannon Burr was wildly adored on the microphone this weekend.
Yeah, that's what I kind of
admired. I don't know if adored is the right word.
I kind of heard and saw that.
Which is no surprise.
You've had him on yours multiple times.
Right, and so no surprise.
Yeah, you knew what he was bringing to the table.
That he knows what he's talking about, what he's doing. It sounds like everybody, for the most part. Let me rephrase that. I didn't see a single negative thing spoken with regard to his commentary joining along with Big Germ this weekend. So pretty cool experience. And then he goes on to win the tournament, which is the least shocking part probably of the weekend, is that he would ultimately pull out the victory. But congrats to him. And again, I didn't sit down and consume any post-production, but I've seen enough post. In fact, not to sound like a baby, but I'm sick of seeing like, Gannon Burr killed it on the mic this week. And then like 2 hours later, the same post is made in the same group. It's like, and I agree. Like, I'm good with talking it up, but there's like 6 other posts and that goes for anything positive or negative. Like that thread's.
I mean, it just shows the reach of the Jomez channel versus like your channel. And
sure,
like all these people, like he has done it and done it just as well,
right? And,
with your coverage at like the Memorial and other places like that. But not everyone consumes that, and to get him on the Jomez channel really is a much bigger exposure.
Yeah, certainly. And I wasn't even thinking anything along those lines of the fact that he had done it on mine first. I'm not concerned about that. I just the overwhelming response of people really enjoying him, I thought was pretty cool to see. So
the funny thing is whenever I see anyone announced, I knew Gannon was going to do it a couple days ago. I had heard, but anytime someone's announced for another channel, I think they're probably already getting on Terry's. Just because, in general, Terry's usually desperate for people, so he accepts a lot of different people. Second of all,
that's not the way I'd word it.
That's the way I word it. Second of all, Terry is a very good judge of who may be a good person behind the mic. So,
yeah. Oh, real quick, the one other thing we didn't talk. Did you read any of this MVP Cyberstalker drama?
Yeah, a little bit.
I read the whole court document, like 18, 12, 18, 19 pages.
I didn't read that. I just got the highlights. So,
yeah, and that's all that's really needed but it sounds like this gentleman needs some kind of help in some regard. And I hope that he gets it. So I don't want to make light of that. However, I also don't want to sidestep that from making what appear to be very legitimate. I won't say the demands were legitimate, but the recourse may or may not be. Like when somebody's buying a gun, showing off shooting a gun, referencing guns, referencing killing people, referencing MVP as a company.
You can't
all
let
of
that
these
slide.
Things,
you can't.
We can't, take that lightly. And so where it's going to go, I don't know. I just hope that everyone remains safe. And that there are no real problems or anything of that nature.
So, for a real quick, brief explanation, there was a player who was sponsored by MVP. I think he was out on the West Coast.
Yeah, out of Washington
State. And
after about 3 to 5 years of being sponsored by them.
Yeah, they split.
Amicably,
in what we thought, amicably. And slowly but surely, the gentleman who was sponsored kind of spun out of control and was making posts and started getting more upset. He felt they owed him money and some, I don't know if and merchandise,
more so money. And I think one of the phrasings was, why would you would it make more sense to give somebody, we'll say that has money, $150,000 a year, where you could give them $110,000 a year and give me 40 because I'm a diehard supporter and brand ambassador.
Sure.
I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what he said.
Yep.
But then it continued to spin off, and so basically said, you owe me that money, which is a massive leap after you've already parted ways, considering that money was never discussed. And then later a spin off into, well, you owe me $40,000. Well, now you owe me 50. Pay up, or you owe me 100 right now. Wait, I'll give you a discount to 50, but you should owe me 100. Wait, now you owe me $1 million, or whatever the numbers were. They're in that neighborhood, and then eventually talking about consequences and deadlines if this money wasn't wired over.
Yeah,
it wasn't playful banter.
Nope.
It was stuff that needs to be taken seriously, and warrants have been out for. They issued a warrant for his records to just double check as to his location, because obviously they're worried. Employees were worried about him showing up. MVP has gone through protocols of active shooter drills, and things of that nature. Obviously, there's learning those drills, which are probably all good life, things to have, in your back pocket, like a CPR would be or whatever. Having those things, but the fact that you have to because there's a real potential threat of someone specific makes it that much more traumatizing. I feel like it's not like,
I hope he figures out whatever is going on upstairs and gets whatever help he needs,
of course, and
everybody lives happily ever after. But it's tough because people, so
that's kind of the long and short of it. Now it's everywhere. I saw it earlier when it was posted today. There was an article in a Michigan-based news source that actually somehow that got to me. But now, whether it's Disc Golf Fanatic or a million other places, I'm sure it's been posted and it's out there. And I literally
whatever in the Disc Golf law, this would be right up his alley.
Somebody tagged him at some point.
Like, this would be right up his
Right.
alley.
I read through, like I said, the 12 or 14 or 19 pages of basically the entire affidavit of breaking it all down, of how they've come to these conclusions of where things are at. And let's just hope things that continue to be peaceful in every possible way. And yes, it sounds like I think even at one point at one point he posted something himself about being bipolar.
Sure. So maybe someone's off their medication or just needs an adjustment. I mean, you can't like forgive it. Something has to be taken seriously, but
at the same time, you can't downplay it and overlook it either.
Exactly.
Because the last thing you need is something like that. So anyway, that was something else that crossed my desk today that I thought was like a little bit crazy. Insane. Yes. And I'll go out and do some more research. Barsby, I don't think it's been a long day. I don't know if Barsby's ever done commentary with me on my channel. I wouldn't be surprised if he has, but I can't remember an instance where he did. I can't think of one. So I don't believe that to be the case. Philo has, I won't go on and on. Lots of people have. I don't think that Barsby has. Obviously, I would gladly have him in a heartbeat if he wanted to. And maybe he has for a round, but I don't recall. Another quick side note was this weekend, when I showed up to the quarry along with our buddy Dustin, I showed up and a gentleman was there and he was talking about having his 5th kid and all this other stuff. And at one point he was sponsored, this and that, and he had a number of discs sitting out on his back, on his trunk, and he was just selling them there at the park to anybody that was pulling up. And I'm flipping through them and looking at them, and there's nothing that I need. I jokingly said any 90s Ontario Rocks or, old Comets, of which he had neither. It was a lot of newer. It was all brand new stuff, but nothing, nothing earth-shattering by any means. I was like, oh my gosh. I did find a Nate Doss Challenger stuffed into one of his other boxes that I purchased because I know somebody else that's going to immediately want that. And he was going on and on and on. And then I was looking through them. I said, all right, wrap them up. I'll just take them all.
Oh, geez.
So I bought all of them. Nothing of like significant collector value. A lot of these will go literally right into my bins to then turn around and then offer up for sale to other people. So it's not like there's a big collector. I just thought it would be easiest for him, who was trying to schlep these discs at a pretty good price. I thought it'd be easier for him just to have one customer, PayPal'd him, sent him the money. We both went on our merry way. And I think it was the easiest because it was 53 discs when it was all said and done. And so rather than sitting there for the next 6 weeks trying, selling 2 a weekend, he had it all done. So it was a pretty funny story to just get it all done for him and buy him some, help him buy some diapers and formula.
Well, good for him.
He told me his fifth kid on the way. All right, with that, we want to thank you guys for. Whoa, go back up. What was that? Looks like something I like. With that, I want to say thank you guys for joining us tonight. It's been a lot of fun. Big shout out to Nate Doss and Dave from the Dyers Guild, who are really pushing us forward on the Out of Production podcast. You done with OOP?
Yeah, you know me.
It should be a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoy that. First episode.
We'll make some AI music for
releasing tomorrow. I think, spoiler, Revolution is maybe working on a little music for us. So,
all right,
absolutely no AI music.
Then forgive me on that one.
Yeah, you back the F up. For Johnny V, I'm the Disc Golf Guy. That's Podcast 610's After Show. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. We'll see you next week. You step inside the Smashbox.